Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. We're seeing North American stock futures, little change once again this morning, coming off another muted session on Tuesday, as we had the U.S. 10-year back to the upside yesterday, hitting a 14-month high above 1.77, putting tech stocks back under pressure. All the big name tech stocks to the downside yesterday. Pick one: Amazon, Facebook, Apple, Netflix. They were all in negative territory, but offset by higher reopening stocks. Once again, some of the airlines, the cruise lines, hotels, even retail names we saw back in positive territory, helping to limit the overall weakness coming from those tech stocks. Speaking of the U.S. 10-year, back to 1.72 this morning. A little bit of caution once again heading towards the open this morning. We'll have U.S. President Biden's speech after market tonight on the expected $2 trillion infrastructure spending plan that he has. Individually this morning, Lululemon shares, a little bit weak. We'll talk to Mark Roberts coming up here about Lululemon. One stock he mentioned that he liked, blowout quarter, but shares to the downside this morning. Chewy, not so much higher after earnings for Chewy were better than expected as well. It's Wednesday, March 31st, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Look at North American markets at this point this morning. You can see tech stocks trying to bounce. NASDAQ up 0.7%. The Dow little changed. S&P in positive territory at this point. Brazil open, trading lower already. Bitcoin, back to the downside after getting ever so close to that 60,000 mark once again. Crude oil about 0.5% higher, with gold back in negative territory as well. Going to be an interesting day. Good morning, guys. We do have that speech coming up a little bit later on. I think they said 4:30 p.m. tonight for Joe Biden's speech on this $2 trillion bill on spending for infrastructure that is said to be planned. Got to talk about cannabis stocks this morning, higher as a group, obviously, after that news out of New York State. I guess a little bit expected, though.
Yeah, I guess not so much a surprise. Welcome. It's hump day, but it's kind of not, because a holiday shortened week, Good Friday coming up. On Friday, markets will be closed, so we only get a 4-day trading week. A lot to be packed in. We'll see how much that cannabis news moves the space, but obviously, with the talk of the infrastructure deal, you have seen the material names rally. U.S. Steel up to fresh highs here at 26.50. A lot to watch for this. I think there's going to be some interesting plays in 5G, like Marvel is going to be one to watch. AMAT already, certainly worth a look there if you're talking about technology infrastructure. So it looks like a pretty interesting session to come in. There is the flip side. I'm still having a bit of a look at some of those like your TMEs and those other Flash Friday downside trades. A couple of them are still in a position to potentially break out, so they're going to have to be on watch. But the bigger stories, I think, here are BlackBerry and good for Chewy. And of course, this time it's no more BFT. You can actually pull up the real symbol there, Sean. PaySafe.
Yeah, PaySafe is in the building. So welcome, guys. Good morning to everybody. We posted up the sticky note. A lot of people asking for it, so there it is. It's there on Twitter. You guys can find that. And also posted a poll last night. Over 700 votes, so good on that. We'll see if we can get that going. That's on crypto. I just retweeted that as well. We'll put that on the board. I think today's a NASDAQ crazy day, so I think you got to be watching Apple. You got to be watching Softy, Facebook, names like that. NEO's on a huge run right now off that bottom of 34. How many times yesterday did we highlight that bottom over the last couple of weeks? $34. Same bottom of 21 on Palantir. Now you're at 22.50. So yeah, it's been a nice couple days, and honestly, I think the run continues today. The NASDAQ is back, baby. That's my call. Let's trade and trade accordingly today. Aggressive.
Speaking of, some of these growth stocks, just watching XPeng here, guys, just made high on the morning there, a little bit of a volume spike. That headline just came across there. They officially set the world record, I guess it is, for the longest autonomous drive. Almost 3,000 kilometers completed. They announced they were starting this back at their last earnings report, but almost 3,000 kilometers completed in a single trip under the control of software, I guess. Not sure how anyone feels about that, but we'll talk about XPeng coming up here as well. Before we do, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss B.
Good morning, Brandon. Hi, guys. I wish you a great trading day. I hope market will bring us a lot of opportunities. And as usual, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's jump into things here, guys. Let's have a look at some of these EV stocks. They've been, beaten down, to say the least, off the highs that we saw going back to, the end of last year, beginning of this year. But both this XPEV and NIO put in nice rallies yesterday. Some of the Chinese names starting to come back to life here. I mean, not a overly huge market-moving event there, but a nice headline at least for XPeng.
It is, but I mean, everyone's been following along with that story, and it was sort of expected they'd be able to have a successful test since that start a couple weeks ago. But I mean, XPEV in particular, just because we're going to have this one to chart on the upside here. Look at that November little dip before the biggest rally, and that's the 30 to 80 move that it put in here. And then it held that higher low. So I mean, that's what we're basically basing off of here, and it's a very similar chart to something like NIO. XPEV a little bit more extreme, however. I think there's room to get to like this 38 area before we run into some resistance on this particular move, so maybe like 10% from here. It needs to break, obviously, through what is, it's not a tight pre-market range, but at least for the greater part of when I sat down here, it has been like a tight, like 20, 30 cent range. And, there is a part of me that's like, okay, well, even if it gets back to like a 34, that could be interesting on XPEV. Typically, and, I'm going to cover this, but I know we both like to trade NIO a little bit better just because the volumes, liquidity, is just always superior on NIO. But I mean, there's some levels to watch on XPEV as well. When it gets through that 35, there's going to be that resistance set at 38, and then on a dip, I'd love to see some volume come in at 34 if there's any kind of and a lot of times you'll see on these plays on an up day, the first move can be down, and you want to be prepared for that if that's the case. XPEV, I don't see anything crazy at 34, but it did close at the 80, so I think you have that bit of a range on a dip.
Okay, yesterday, guys, we absolutely destroyed NIO. We were long right down here, 35, 34, 34.50, 34.70. Like, this is where we were long yesterday, and that's at 9.45, 9.30. And then you see the action that we had, basically straight up $4. I mean, 3.5 all the way to the very top. Straight move, straight up. So we'll need to see NIO again. And I mean, we pounded the pavement on this 34 level. As I was saying, the last couple weeks, like when it was down here, that was a big level. Then it retested. So we've had a couple days here where you had an opportunity to get long 34, 35, 36. Doesn't really matter at this point. And now we'll wait to see what it does at 40. We have these little bottom wicks here, 39.50, 39.80, things like that. And we're still ripping to the high side. I wrote down on the board here today that I would really love if it were to dip down. This is on the sticky note, guys. I would really love if it dipped down to 37.50, right into this area here where we can sort of see where we had some support yesterday, this 37.15. So that's why we write down 37. I mean, here's the sticky note right here. It's also, Valeria's putting it on Twitter. I see everybody requesting it. And then upside here, 39 has that break. But then I also wrote down too, 38. So, let's get long 38. Let's see what happens at 37.50. And then if the market somehow collapses, which I don't think it does today, then we get to this 37 area. But NIO has to be watched. It's 1.02 million shares. I mean, I can't base the trade better for you guys right there. I'm going to be going long 38 into 37.50, and then we'll see what happens at that jump spot. So, yeah, I'm excited for NIO. It's been a big day, a big couple weeks for them, and we'll see if the recovery happens. I don't know if it gets back to 60 or not, but we will see on NIO. Through 40 today is my call.
All right, let's bring in Mark Roberts here, president of Sun Lake Strategies, get his take on a Wednesday, setting up to be an interesting one so far. Good morning, Mark. Good to see you once again. Let's get right into Lululemon. You had some positive words to mention on the stock. It's had a pretty epic run over the past couple of months. I read 60% move to the upside. What are your thoughts on these earnings?
Earnings were good. They weren't stellar. The feeling going out a bit is still strong. I'm going to wait for a bit of a pullback in here and put the position on.
Other side of the story, I guess, Chewy today with a big move following that report. Is this a little bit much, though, 10+% here?
There's a little bit of short interest in the stock. There's also a stronger belief in this company. It's doing a fantastic job management-wise. So the initial moves are always a bit discerning, but I think it'll come in some. I watched McCormick Spices do the same thing yesterday. It was up almost $5, and it ended up closing down on the day.
The more important question, I guess, and I was reading about this last night, is this going to be portrayed or contrived to be somehow good news for GameStop today?
Yeah, I would think so. But GameStop is in its own world, but they are capturing great talent, and I have to assume that ends up being a bullish move down the road.
Some interesting moves over the past couple of days in infrastructure stocks. I mean, have a look at that chart of U.S. Steel. It's pretty impressive over the past couple of weeks. How do we approach this going into this, speech from Biden tonight? What do we expect to come of that, and how should these react today?
Biden's speech is going to be a bit confusing because there's a lot of headwinds in here. So he can't afford to lose any Democrats on anything. My guess is the infrastructure stays in place. The social infrastructure, we'll call it, of allowing internet through rural areas, those will stay in place. But his tax plans to pay for it will end up being challenged aggressively. And the list of Democrats who want what we call SALT to be able to take off real estate and or taxes in New York, New Jersey, California, that will be challenged as well.
Let's get your take on some of this Archego mess that we continue to see. I guess the mopping up of the after effect of some of these stocks, the media stocks getting cut in half really across the board. 10-cent music though was a little bit weaker than the rest yesterday. We're seeing a little bit of strength coming back into it this morning. Is it worth keeping an eye on this morning? Relative volume is definitely higher today.
The way I look at it, when you get these kind of unknowns, especially coming into a long weekend, I stay on the sidelines. I watch the stock. I'd rather pay premium going down the road to get back into something than to buy something and find out another shoe falls.
Speaking of long weekend, it's the end of the quarter. And that means there's going to be a lot of kind of reshuffling and a lot of big money moving positions around. How do you approach trading on a day like this when you get, some bigger influences and outside influences coming into the market?
If there's a list of stocks on your pad that you've been looking to sell and they're running in a strange way, not off news, but off anticipation, I take some stock off. I've got a list of 10 or 15 stocks I want to buy. I just can't buy them at the levels they're at. So I've been sitting on my hands for the last few days.
Mr. Roberts, how are you, my friend? Sun Lake Strategies. I hope all is well. We had a big ruling yesterday in the last couple of days there in New York about the following. Here it comes. There we go. We got cannabis plays. So I know you like that, Mark, so we're going to hit that. You've been touting SMG as sort of one of those secondary plays. Same with me. I love GRWG. We've talked about that. Grow Generation brands as well, or corporations, not a brand. And then SMG, Scott's Miracle Grow. Also right now, what a dip that had. Wow. Mark, I didn't even notice this back in March. What happened? Have you been following SMG at all? Because that was a screaming buy down there at 200, and I'm actually embarrassed a little bit. I didn't even notice that this had happened, I guess, during some of that wreckage that we just experienced the last couple of weeks. What a screaming buy that was at 200, Mark.
I missed it by 82 cents.
Oh no! What do you base your models on to get to be that exact? Because when I'm looking to sort of get into longer term positions, like I feel that this sort of would be now, especially with some of the new rulings. How do you model something to get 82 cents? Like, are you a very exact kind of person, or did you miss it because you're waiting at the even dollar, or how do you figure out your exact price targets?
It was an even dollar, exactly correct.
Okay, yeah, similar to what I have there.
And that's the first mistake I made, because I should have been putting it on a 1 minute chart when it got down there and just grabbed some.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Wow, I can't believe. I mean, maybe I hope that. Oh, there it is, Mark. I see what it's 185.82. That's great. I mean, that's bad. It's not great for you, but that's hilarious because I put it right here and it's 185.82. I had a very similar situation where I didn't get into it. I've been in Grow Generation Brands, but that ad corporation that also had a big drop down and hasn't really recovered the same way. So I'm looking to get into this one. Are there any other names maybe in this space? And if not, we can move on to something else. But is there another name there with New York State looking to legalize and some of this? There's some ETFs. MSOS is one that's a very popular pure cannabis ETF as well. Is there any names you're looking at that maybe our traders might want to dabble in?
I would say the ETF because it's still unclear how all this falls into place. But I was looking to see how I may benefit. SMG certainly was the move for me, but I would go ETF until it's clear.
Yeah, this is the one I'm talking about, MSOS. It's a decent ETF. It's been on a huge run lately. This is Advisor Shares Pure U.S. Cannabis. So a nice little dip down here. I agree with you, man. I've had my hands in a lot of these stocks and just hasn't really worked out. So Nike today off the Lulu number. Not too much movement, but we're still pretty high side now off that 124, 125 bottom that we saw. I think you were on the show this day when we had that report. And again, it was just the negativity. They went down 4 or 5% there on some Chinese rhetoric, about the production and, the treating of people. It's a very political thing, so we don't want to get into it too much. But now that you've seen the report, are you still leaning towards Lulu versus Nike? Is there another name in the sort of the athleisure or the apparel area? I know Adidas has been going crazy as well as an ADR that we can trade on the pink sheets. Is there anything changing here off that Lulu report?
No, I think I'm still going to stick with Lulu and with Nike. They're companies that I know quite well. I'm looking for lower levels in both, so I'm going to sit on my hands for now and wait.
Okay, Mark Roberts, Sun Lake Strategies. Is there any names that we haven't covered that you would like to just throw out there based on some research or any little talk here for today, Mark?
Well, there's an interesting one, PAVE, which is the Global X infrastructure. Again, that's had a nice run. It may not be liquid enough for all of your investors, but that's something I would keep my eye on, trying to dip back in. I'm still looking for a pullback here in middle May to late May. So I'm keeping my powder dry. And on these rallies, when I'm not convinced certain stocks should be where they are, I'm taking some off and raising some cash.
Mark, what a run. I mean, you just come with these gems. I never even heard. It's funny. As soon as you said PAV, I was like, PAVE. Okay, this has to be obviously an infrastructure ETF. And look at that move, man. 950. Obviously, I mean, we go back to March. I mean, whatever, everything is low in March. But yeah, what a great little spot there. And it's funny because this right here, October, November, December, when we were discussing obviously politics and it was the new administration, that was a very, very similar to US Steel. We talked about that, Cliffs, and a lot of these metal. Like, look at that move up to $25. I missed, you're a buyer on any dips. But do you start a position right now if you're not in this? Because this is an interesting spot for me here, I think.
You could. I'm going to give myself some 50, 75 cents.
Okay.
Probably closer back to the 25 area and start a position.
Yeah, even the 50 period moving average there at 23.50. So a good little look. Mark Roberts, Sun Lake Strategies. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Have a happy Easter. I guess we probably won't see you on Friday because there's no show and no market. So blessed one to you and your family, Mark. Be well, and we'll see you soon. Thank you again for everything you do.
Be well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark.
Let's go with upgrades and downgrades. The big one has returned up here. Apple on the board for the first time in as long as I can remember. UBS back onto Apple here, 142 on the price target for Apple. So we'll see. Definitely showing a little bit of positivity. They announced their developer conference as well coming up in June, typically when you see the new iPhones coming out. Carrier down here as well. That side of the board, nothing terribly exciting. Beam and Brookfield to the downside, but as you notice, they're both higher, guys.
Yes, sir. Brookfield, not the most active stock in the entire world, but a solid company there. Apple, of course. Hey, there's still time. You're not gonna be able to get 116, that 120 support that's been there for the last couple of sessions. Every time we've dipped through, we've managed to recover through it. That's just a solid area that we're basing off of. And as the market sort of teeters up here, led of course by the Nasdaq. And let's keep in mind, although the 10-year did get to that 175 high, it dipped back a little bit. And overall, the Nasdaq has been responding better to moves. I think people are on this move that this is just the new range with that's being priced in, and that's definitely going to be a bit of a positive. I think there's room to get up to that like 130 in the next week or so. I don't like breakout trades. To be perfectly honest, in Apple, it's going to follow the broad market, but I am looking to see if this 121.60 pre-market bottom if this gets taken out. Off of the open, and there's like a little mini shakeout that happens on this gap up. My first instinct is like, if it reclaims that level, just go long off of a play like that. So now we look at the overall market as well. I mean, the Nasdaq, as we speak, just turned off like a 1298, 980 high. So you're going to watch out for that 13,000 number. And that's why I don't necessarily love the breakouts there. But if you can fade into that in a name like Apple, I think it's going to be the way to go. And now, there's a lot to be trading today. Sean mentioned some of the tech names. I actually like Marvel. It's not much of a day trade, but I'm going to have that one on my radar.
Look at this, guys. This is why. Again, here we go on the sticky note. It's up there, 122.50. That's this level here from a few days ago. Let's call it Monday pre-market high. We touched it. And then we said, thank you very much, and tanked down about $1.50. So there's that 22.50 high right there. And then you also run into 22, which goes back into this cluster back on the 18th of March. And then, once we broke 122 this day, it was up and away to 123.50. And then again, 122 bounces off here. And then you get another spot right here of 122 where it broke that level and went down to 120 and change. And then 2 days ago, like we just mentioned, 122.50 off the open, and then a bunch of 122 resistance levels. So we'll see what happens today. It's going to break 122 before 9:30, that's for sure, but we'll hope to get along in this area, 121 and change. We'll park some bids there, just like we talked about on NEO, and we'll see if we can get long 121 and change and then run this thing up. I think this is going to be a big NASDAQ day today, guys. NASDAQ has been lagger, and that won't stay that way forever. So the NASDAQ goes today and goes like fire is my opinion. So 122.50, I love that for Apple. However, if you do get that, you run into this area here of consolidation basically at 123. So I think you could take a little more shares than you're comfortable with at 122.50 and then take a smaller win, I think. Like 123.25 would be great. Takes them off at 123. And then if you're lucky enough to hold it, and this is the day that I think it is, maybe we retest 124. But I'm not sure we get up to 124 today. There's a lot of fish to fry. And if you do like Apple, then I think you could trade this one today.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at a daily chart. The volume tells the story on Apple as well. It's been asleep since the end of February. But let's jump into what is moving around in the pre-market. Guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you head over to that link and that website. Register for our absolutely free to you every single day watch list. We send it out before we come on at 8:30. If you haven't done so already, get over to that site. If you need it, again, Valeria will be more than happy to help you out in the chat. The first one, guys, on the board today is Chewy, up big time here in the pre-market. 10+% at one point, better than expected report right across the board. Digital sales were up, I think it was 21%. Gross margins, 27%. They also provided an upbeat forecast for both this quarter and the full year. That's a lot of check marks on this earnings report, guys.
You have to come up with a new thing that's not the trifecta, Brandon. I know you came up with the trifecta before, but we need something for when you knock 5 out of there. Look, I'm going to leave a lot of the positive for Sean to talk about and just sort of go back to you're going to have a strong move here, and I just saw us pull back off of like a buck off of that 94 high. Do we have a chance to get back into this 100 range? Sure, that's certainly a possibility. I'm always, when I look at earnings like this, I'm always expecting there to be some potential for profit taking off of the open, and this gives you an obvious sort of area in front of 90 to play off of. One of the strongest signs we usually see is where do you level off in the afternoon on this positive report, and then pre-market base off that level and break out. And I'm kicking myself over this trade here. Now, Chewy doesn't always do the most volume in the world, but this break, right here just before 8 o'clock is going to be golden. And if I ever see this setup again, there's no way I'm not going to try to get involved. Even if it is the pre-market, it's just all kinds of signs of strength, opening that high early in the pre-market and then taking the top off from the afternoon's action yesterday. So that's one to look at. If it retraces to some of those levels, actually I wouldn't even give it to that 88.50. I'd give it to I'd look to 90 to 91 on any kind of a dip. And obviously at some point I think we get to that 100 mark where there could be a psychological resistance. The other side of the coin is BlackBerry didn't look very good. It's not on our watch list, but I actually want to be short that one today.
Spin the money, guys. I've been a Chewy shareholder since IPO time, and it's been a great run for Chewy, and it just continues. Look, I wrote down again on the sticky note, I mean, it's crazy when I wrote this, 87.50 and then 90.50, right? And again, it's like, how easy of a break was that? I just wasn't sitting down here and prepared for it. But this 90.50 right there, bang, hits it, rips up $3. So yeah, that was a pretty good level there. I hope you got the sticky note at that point, but whatever. I mean, if you want to trade in the pre-market, then that's fine. But there's 90.50. There's the break. It happens right at about 8.25, so a little early for that one. All the way straight to the upside. And yeah, look, we're loving Chewy here. It's already been up to 115. I did take some off up here, but I'm still a shareholder. So there we go. Already took this out. This was the key level, all this consolidation here between 75. And again, remember we just talked about that wreck where it took down, if you are a relatively new stock in the last 2 or 3 years, the last couple weeks has not been kind to you. There's just too many shares out there and not enough buyers. But right now, Chewy proving that doesn't matter because more increased sales, better than expected earnings, a positive. They were expected 10 cents negative. They got 5 cents above on EPS. And now, it just takes out, this is the key level. I just keep my marker there. 88, 89, as soon as we got above that, now it's sailing higher. I imagine we get 105 soon off this number. So I don't think it happens today, but Chewy already up 15, 16% and ripping. Let's just look for some levels, man. I mean, if this comes back down to 90.50, then you're good to go. But this will open up. So don't trade this in the pre-market unless you really get a dip back down, or unless you're price insensitive, which I am not, like 93.30, 93.01. So you do get about a 30 to 50 cent spread there. So just be careful. But yeah, buyer into 90s, and then we'll see the action. This is not one to trade right off the open. We got to see. I don't like to trade earnings plays, breakouts, very first trade. So let's wait to see where it settles down, and then we'll start getting aggressive with this one.
Yeah, it was 2.04 billion in revenue. Huge number for Chewy. 51% increase over a year ago, the same period. Let's go to Lululemon. Mentioned there with Mark. Decent report for Lululemon. Positive numbers right across the board. The stock is up 60% in 12 months. So, we just talked about, guys, some profit taking. Might be a little bit of that going on here in Lulu this morning.
Yeah, I mean, it basically didn't break out of the chop zone, which it sucks for the day trade, to be honest with you. It almost kills it altogether. And the chop zone I'm talking about is the last couple of weeks. We've been in this 325 top, 300 bottom, and we're just stuck in the middle of this one. And if it can't break out, which on what was mostly a positive report, then you sort of play the patience game. You got to be with Mark. If you like the name, you wait for those little bit of a dips to buy. And if it breaks down through 300, maybe it gives you that opportunity. The other side of this coin is some of the money that's going into these infrastructure plays and a little bit into some of the chip names, of course, with the government project to get that satisfied, and some of the tech maybe rallying here. You're going to have some downward pressure or at least some weakness in some of these, and it's a bit of a reopening. I know they've done pretty well with their online as well, but I don't know that there's going to be the momentum in Lululemon today. I'll be looking to see if in the next couple of days we actually break that 300 to the downside, and then you can go bottom picking, but not much of a day trade here that I'm going to see in Lululemon. If it ever got down to this, I'm watching for this cluster at 285 to 290, and I think that's going to be the big one. So if we drop 10% from here, I think Lulu's going to give you a trade at that point.
So BFT yesterday, a lot of talk on that there. Even though we were talking about Lulu, everyone, come on, guys, you're just talking about BFT, DraftKings, Afria. Yeah, Lulu's a good one. We went over that with Mark. So good little levels there and still going downside. You can wait for a lot lower to buy Lulu, in my opinion. Okay, so today's pay safe. BFT yesterday closes 15. or 15.10. I don't know. Here you go. Put the 3-minute up for BFT. Had a little bit of a dip down there yesterday or so, off of a nice start to the day, right where we are now. So that's what I wanted to highlight. So yesterday we got up to 15.8. 1580 or so off the open. Good opportunities to buy BFT if you're interested in it. Now today it turns over to PaySafe. So we're in this area. That's BFT. So we'll close off BFT and not worry about it. And now we switch over to PaySafe. So you do get up that 5% today. Hey, look, I even bought more shares yesterday in BFT just to see what was going to happen today. We get a 5% bump, so that's good. Although I didn't buy it to close. I bought 1550s, like I just said. So I'm not really in the money, but we'll wait on this one. And PaySafe today, look, if it gets any kind of love, like a Square or like a PayPal, then this stock moons, and hopefully we get a nice little winner there on that one. You can see Square has just been an absolute monster from these bottoms here. $35, $40, right up to $300. So a big move here. Not that we think PaySafe can do that. As I said, we got to wait for their first report to find out what valuation needs to be put on this, right? What multiple needs to be put on PaySafe. But think about it like a PayPal, but a little brother. I like it. PSFE. Again, it's not going to be for a day trade, guys, because 54,000 shares isn't super exciting. I don't believe it's on the imbalance locator. Let's look quickly. No, Chewy's there for a small buy. My boy Palantir, that's coming up. That's going to be on the list there. We talked about buying that at 21, and I said that in the wreck the last couple days there. My last buy was here, let's see what the price was. My last buy was 21.87, I believe, on Palantir. So finally a green day for this stock in the market. So we're happy for Palantir, but we will get to that. BlackBerry's not on our list, but the Canadian company continues to disappoint. So we do some backflips for anybody that got out of BlackBerry when it was part of this meme generation upside here, and that was a joke. But now we go right back to the downside where BlackBerry belongs, in my opinion.
All right, another one to add to the, yeah, it looks like they are getting into NFTs here. TAOP is what I'm speaking of. Another one to add to the NFT list, TAOP, which is TAOP on the NASDAQ, up 27% here. They acquired majority stake in this Render Lake Technology Limited, which is a tech company that they're going to combine with to make NFTs. Let's have a look at the overall market. We'll bring in Arun here and check out the futures, see what levels we need to be aware of for a Wednesday. We are positive here, Arun, but only just.
Only just, nothing's really changed since yesterday. We're still dead center, range bound, end of the quarter. That could bring some volatility. So that's the only thing I would hope for on a day like today. But we are within the range, like I said, 39.75 is the top end of the range that I was working with yesterday. Same top for today as well. 39.55 is where the range for me would start. So anywhere between 39.55 to 39.75, I'm open to finding longs. I understand we're here right now. The only issue that I have at the moment is that there is some upside pressure. So I'm not going to step into any shorts, even though we're within that range. You do have to be smart about how you enter within ranges, because sometimes we can just squeeze right through, right? And that is the concern when we're kind of picking up some strength. So for me, we're in that window where I can look for some shorts, but not yet. There's not enough sell side action for me to verify that this range is still in play, but the range is there. Just know the levels. So 39.75 is the top, 39.55 is where I would start looking. And I'm just going to wait for some more action to the sell side before I do anything. Now to the bottom, we have 39.40 going down to 39.15. So that's a 25-point range. And again, that's there from yesterday as well. It held yesterday beautifully. So today, will it hold again? Again, if it gets down there, you look for some form of a setup. If you get that set up, you take that long. Just be tempered in your expectations when you're trading inside of a range, because you do have to take profits. You have to control your risk-reward ratios. As everything sets up and the risk-reward ratios are good, then you take your trade. But otherwise, you just sit back and you just wait.
Arun, our friend Sean has a question for you.
Okay.
Hi, my friend Arun. How are you? nice throw, Brendo. No, look, I was just thinking, you just mentioned the same thing that I was talking about all morning, and that I didn't want to short anything, and I think this is going to be a big NASDAQ day, and I just wanted to talk to you about that a little bit. On a day when you're looking at the NASDAQ up 0.67 versus the ES, which is only up 0.18, is that a day where you would focus only on the NASDAQ contract, or will you switch between based on what sets up the best? I just wanted to have a little bit of explanation about that, because like I really get the feeling today that the NASDAQ is going to be the one that moves and give us the better opportunities. Is that something that you go through, or do you just have sort of both charts up and you have your numbers written down and you have your levels and you'll pounce on whatever, or do you focus on one more than the other on specific days?
Right. So I do have both up, but I specifically trade, or I focus a lot of my trading on the S&P 500.
Okay.
And the only reason I do that is because I am able to read the charts better. I am able to read the levels better on the S&P. Don't get me wrong. I used to trade the NASDAQ contract, and there were big swings, but the problem was the NASDAQ is so thin that identifying exact levels and exact support areas, the fence, you know, when you say level, it's technically a fence because it's willing to bend a little bit, right? You have to be willing to bend these levels a little bit. I just couldn't pinpoint whether 10 points was a bend or allowing a level to move 10 points past what I thought was the end of the level was enough or not. So I just focused on the S&P. But at the same time, towards the end of the day, when I know the tech-heavy stocks may have imbalances, I do move into the NASDAQ contract, even though at that point, the levels don't really matter anymore. I just care about the fact that Apple's, Microsoft's, the Googles, and the Amazons are actually going to move this index faster than they would move the S&P. So I do have both up. I primarily focus most of my day on the S&P, and then towards the end of the day, I might flip over to the NASDAQ just to catch most of the tech moves.
Yeah, I mean, great point there. And also with your history, obviously, liking the levels. And this is, I just want to call up the level 2 for a lot of traders. They may have not seen this. Look at all the volume right now. And this is what Arun's talking about. You do get a lot of action on these levels. Look at the number of contracts. It's simple. It's one book. There's the number of contracts. Watch the NQ. And I know they trade at different ticks, Arun, but look, I mean, you know, 2, 6, 4, 5, like there's just not as much here on the NQs as there are on the ES. So I think very, very wise words there. Stick with what you're more comfortable with. Arun, my good friend, we're going to have news coming up that's very, very important that you're a part of. So stay tuned, all the viewers. Arun, thank you for your daily input, my friend.
Absolutely. Great trading, guys.
See you, my friend.
Bye.
End of the quarter as well, Arun. Best of luck today. We will see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Brendan.
Let's jump into Apple, guys. The next one. Yeah, we saw it on the upgrades and downgrades board. First time in a while it's been on that board. As I mentioned, UBS liking Apple to the upside. They also announced their World Developer Conference coming up in June, typically where you see first signs of next year's items in iPhones, iPads, all the good stuff possibly in June, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about Apple. Look, if you're not a holder, let's just go over here to a longer term chart here. Apple also, a lot of people don't understand. Well, they understand what dividend means, but they don't realize that Apple actually pays one. And it's not a huge, where did that chart go? Oh, God. There it is. It's not a huge dividend or anything like that, but Apple does pay one. And I mean, it's about as steady as you can go on this stock. I mean, there's never really any worry when you put your money into Apple other than, you know, will you have to go through a market cycle, you know? And then if you do, then it's always worth buying these dips. You see a high there back, obviously, in August, 137, based off, I can't remember what that was. That was, I guess, a rebalancing into the end of the quarter there of September. And then you get a market move down to 106, like 105, 104. What a great opportunity that was. Here's another dip, a good opportunity. Here's a dip there to buy before ripping back upside. And now this dip has just lasted a lot longer than many people thought. And of course, with COVID and with the back and forth, we now get the infrastructure bill. We get a lot of spending issues, obviously, with the US dollars. So there's a lot of uncertainty right now with China, which does highlight now 100% renewable energy for Apple production. So they're going to try to put everything renewable in their factories. So that's a good sign. But you have this 125 level right here on the daily, and I think you guys can see that pretty good. That's where the 50 period is, and that's where we got to get above before this stock really breaks back out. And then the next stop is 140. Apple's a stock to buy on dips and to trade on a day like today, because if I can, we've already gone over this, man, today in great depth. 122 is a fantastic buying spot here for Apple. I think it's worth a small little breakout. I really love this 122.50. Let's see what the NASDAQ does. If we can get long into 121, Brendan, then I do like that. So I think that's probably, Neil and I have talked about Apple a little bit today. So let's just move on to the next stock on our list. But Apple, I'm a huge buyer. I want to say Arun also likes the long today in the NASDAQ at certain levels. So we'll wait for Apple to get down to this 121 level and then hopefully be able to leg into a trade that provides us with our biggest winner of the day. Fingers crossed.
Another one coming up, Snap Incorporated, another one that's been beaten down off the highs that we saw at the end of last year. They did show some signs of life, or shares of Snap, I should say, showed some signs of life at the end of the day yesterday. Nice strong rally into the close. They reiterated plans to develop a drone. That was point number A. And then also their AR glasses getting an upgrade and an update, guys. So Snap, a little bit positive here as well today.
Yeah, I mean, it's up almost 1% here, but I think the key is going to look at this this 48 level on Snap and what it's been able to do here. You know, previous resistance that bit of a small breakout back in the end of the year, and then just holds the floor at 48. Even when we came back, over like a 30% retracement here from the top, and we're trying to get to this. Even if we just get back to the top of this little range of this 5250 area, and don't even break this consolidation, that certainly gives you a bit of a trade here in Snapchat. Look, I'm not necessarily bothering with 48 because you should always be anticipating that something crazy could happen, but I don't think that's going to be the case today. I look at 50-50, yesterday's high. It's just above that 50-50 breakout, and then we have like a 50-38 tops today. So I'm looking for that on Snapchat through 50-50 today. And then look, if there is going to be a dip, I'm not waiting for 48. I'd much more be interested in defending somewhere around yesterday's close, is 49.60, so maybe like a 49.50 area. So I'm gonna like Snapchat for that long, for like the swing in the longer term. It's got that cover of the 48. So if you wanted the exposure to it and for some reason want a really tight stop and didn't want to hold on to it, there has been that support at 48 even. For today, I like the 50-50 break on Snapchat. I'll buy a dip because I want to be prepared for both contingencies, different styles of trades, but that would be into yesterday's close area around that 49.50.
Yeah, 50-50 is a great one. And then, the market's already ripped up, but we already said on the sticky note there, where is it? They're 48 to the downside if this market does turn on Snap. Snap's been beat down pretty good, man. This is that 48 bottom. I don't think we get there. That was just, I'm always going long. So it was like, let's see if Snap does find itself in some problems. And it's not today at all. I mean, I don't think these Snap goggles, do you know anybody that actually owns a pair of these glasses? I guess that's probably why they're rebooting them and making them a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe Valeria owns a pair of those. 49, I don't even have do you have a Snapchat account, Valeria? Oh, you're keeping on the down low. I get it. Okay, 49.50 there, downside, 49.25. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a buyer of Snapchat. I just think there's some better names for me today. Although Snapchat was a great trade for me a couple weeks ago when we broke that 50 level the first time. Look at the daily chart of Snapchat though, Brendan. It's just been getting crushed from those highs, right? And I think it was this break right here, 57 on the move up. I just remember that it instantly just started crushing levels. So Snapchat can do that. And here's the 48, Brendan, on a daily chart. That's why we write that down. If you want to go long into 48, but trust me, don't hold it if the market's puking, because this gets down to 39 at some point. If this 48 breaks, is my call.
All right, let's go to 10-cent music. We mentioned the Archegos Capital liquidation mop-up continues, I guess, after what we saw earlier in the week and the end of last week. But 10-cent music, one that didn't really participate yesterday. Very, very choppy session. We're back to the upside this morning. There's no other significant news around TME, but higher volume and higher prices here, guys, in the pre-market.
Yeah, look, I think everyone's sort of waiting for some of these to give like that real push back upside. And look, maybe it's already happened and that's it from for 10 cent in particular from 16 to 22 here. But it's difficult to ignore that that's where that secondary ramp to the downside sort of started on a break of like 22.50 here back on the 25th. The real move, of course, happened at the top. Someone knew something was going on. Of course, the 24th. It is what it is. That seems to always be the case. But now we're just basically staring a failed break at the open at 22. An attempt to break in yesterday's session to the top of 22, and then the same thing here, 21.98 pre-market highs. To me, it's going to be worth it as these ranges start to tighten up off of that level. I've always resisted, not always, the last couple of sessions I've resisted that temptation to be shorting any of these names when they're attempting to break back to the upside. So, and I have 10 cent written down for 22. The other one, I mean, VIPS is basically the same thing at about 32.50. It's just a little tighter of a range here in TME, which makes the setup a little bit more appealing through 22. It's a very similar play. It's just it just looks a little bit better on the chart and a bit of a tighter entry point and more obvious when you're wrong down around that 21.55 area in that pre-market low.
On Palantir Technologies, guys, another one. Again, we're seeing a theme here this morning. All of these stocks that have been sold off quite heavily over the past couple of weeks, showing signs of life once again this morning. I mean, there's no real significant news. There was rumors floating around the other day. They invested or took a stake in this German air shuttle company, Lilium, which is going to make its debut in U.S. markets via SPAC, coming up fairly shortly as well. But Palantir strong again.
You know, we talked about this and that I just had to fight the NASDAQ and it did it and it lost pretty much for the most part as Palantir just, let's go see here. This is not, okay, yeah, this is a Palantir daily. Oh yeah, it's not loading. It doesn't load back. I don't know why it doesn't backfill here. But okay, Palantir, there's that 21 area. I was unable, I did not buy anything yesterday or the last couple days at 20, 2080, 21 even. My last buy was 2187, as you guys know, giving me an average price now, I think of 1650, 1670, something like that. I love Palantir for the long term, and it looks like hopefully right now, you know what, I gotta get a better daily chart up. Hold on a second, guys. I think it's definitely, there it is. I mean, is it better? I don't know. I feel like this is starting to turn here, but we still need to go. Like, I would still love to get this thing above this level. 24 for me is super, super key. If we can break through 24, then I think we can retest these levels of 28. Again, the market has to go, right? Palantir's not going to go by itself. They keep announcing new deals. They keep announcing bigger and better and everything that everybody expects. It's a beloved name over in Silicon Valley, but it's just, it's a brand new name to the market, but an old name, you know, to the industry. So we're going to have to watch Palantir a bit. What I just recently said on the note was watch out for this 23. I mean, again, 23 is on its way to 24. Remember, 24 was only here on the 23rd, so a week ago we were up to 24, and I just think if that's the key level, then this 23, if we smash that, guys, that is a definite long through 23 in my opinion. We just got to see what it does after that. If it breaks through 23, then I expect 23.50 today. If not, then we're not going to give it back to 22.50. Like, that's going to be about as far back as we're going to give this name. Right where we are today, right now at 22.50. I love this name at this level. Let's see if it does its typical play, guys, which would be a drop, very similar to NEO, a drop off the open into 22, holding at 21.50, and then accelerate to the upside. So I've already got my bids in here. Low side, 2022, 22.50, 22.25. Seeing what happens at 22.50. I love Palantir for a long today. And yesterday I was short. Yesterday I made money shorting Palantir. Yeah, look at this, BlackBerry. See ya. I like Palantir. I shorted it yesterday. We'll watch that 23 level. I think it's worth a take if it does go up there. Let's average into any positions into 21.50 though. So, I mean, again, there's my game plan for you, spelt out pretty clear, guys.
All right, let's talk cannabis, guys. We'll move on to this group that has been also sold over the past week or so. We learned yesterday that New York State will become the 15th state in the U.S. to legalize the commercial sale for recreational use of cannabis. Tilray, CGC, Aphria, all of them higher, guys, here in the pre-market.
They're actually, I mean, they're somewhat muted moves. If you look, it's like 1 or 2%, and I don't know necessarily it's going to get that big bump. Like everyone said, it's somewhat expected. Thank you, Daily Chart. There is, and again, this has not necessarily been the best day trade. The only level I was looking at, and this is CGC in particular here, guys. I look at this cluster that we're in. It's like, can we break 33 and then get to the upper end of these ranges here? And that's going to be the key. I don't necessarily love like a 32.50 break when we run into that 33 area. I'd much rather see us like consolidate, break out through the top through a 33, and that's the level I've written down. I like CGC for the day trade. If I fade something, you guys already know it's likely to be sundial. Under your breath there, I know you said BlackBerry, Sean, so I want to come to that one. I know it didn't make the watch list, but I'm going to be a shorter of that one today. Well, that's the plan anyways. I mean, you have to have a setup, you have to have a plan of action. I just want to show you guys this bottom here at 880. We're just breaking through that right now. So that level on the chart, 880, you have an 865 pre-market low. I'll take a breakdown at 865, into the open. I really don't have a problem with that. And I'm probably going to be digging in around that 880 level. You have a 9 even, 895 and a 9 even, at least the dip from yesterday in the afternoon. That area would be a nice little stop area for you. And even if it broke that, I mean, I'd probably still sell into that strength. I'd probably take at least 2 or 3 cracks at this one before I gave up on it. But the first look will be through shorting through the low of the day in BlackBerry, which is getting rather close.
Hey guys, I'll talk about some weed stocks here. And I like Afria on this break. And again, it's just normally we don't want to take breaks here because off the open, there it is. Hey, what's up? Nice sunglasses there. Off the open, 1850. This was a top spot there. And I just think if you get 1850, I don't see why we don't try 19. And again, these marijuana stocks are all about momentum, guys. And today they have it. It's up 4%. We get that talk from New York. I talked about that with Mark. And let's just wait to see what Afria does. Very, very similar. We can call up Tilray. Let's just see what Tilray looks like on the 20-minute chart. Same look, man. It's still this 2350 there on Tilray. It's basically the same kind of a breakout. So I prefer Afria, but there's really no difference between the two names. They are going to merge. It looks like that's going through. So 0.86 shares of Afria into one Tilray share. So we'll see. Or sorry, they're using the Tilray name. That's right. So we will see here what goes higher, Afria or Tilray, but they should move together. The name that I like the most out of all of these, and I say it, and I'll just keep saying it, is going to be, what's up? Smash the like, smash my face. $33 on CGC is also a level. So pick your poison on all of these names, but they should all move together. So Weed Batman needs to be in the building today because these stocks will move. I'm already locked and loaded for an 1850 break. So if that happens in the next 9 minutes, I will take it and then I will hold it, guys, which will be a big hit. But I'll probably hold it into this consolidation of 1750 right there. So I think it's going to be worth $1 hit. Maybe that's a little bit too much, but we'll see here what comes of Afria today. $1 hit doesn't seem very reasonable actually to me because I don't know if this name runs $1 off 1850, but let's just play the momentum. Maybe we get a monster day here in the cannabis space.
VTSI, guys, there's a couple of little ones bottom end of the watch list. This one popped up going back 2 days ago. VTSI moving around on some positive news for this thing, but there was a big offering announced. This thing got just crushed into the close yesterday. You can see there was a big offering announced down at $6. So we're right there right now for VTSI. Volume not the greatest this morning, but one to watch as well. Again, down this morning, 25% on an offering for VTSI.
And sometimes some of these smaller cap names are up, and also on the watch list is going to be Arcadia Biosciences. Sometimes they're up for legitimate reasons, beating on earnings here because expected loss, and they actually turned a profit. And over last year, it was basically like a 30-40 cent loss expected. I think they made like 80 cents or so. I had success shorting this up until 335, guys. This is a gap up, and you're going to see also in the afternoon there was a cluster at 320. Right at the end of the afternoon session, right around 4:30 post earnings. 350 hard top. I was shorting off of that 320 area until that 35 broke. Now it's making a consolidation through the high here. We're getting very close to the open. I'm not going to let 350 go if it comes into the open here, but it's multiple shorts I've had on, and you don't want to get blown out right in the morning. If we can take out 335, which was my original out, back to the downside, I'll definitely take some out in front of 320, try to scalp 15, 20 pennies off of that one. And I also have CLRO. That one really isn't moving, so it's kind of boring, but I would watch out for PRPH, Prophase Labs. That has been a mover, and unfortunately, I actually took this trade off, this short trade, because there was an iceberg order here at 750, and I had to short off of this consolidation at 817. It felt like a good one. It's pretty weak news when you guys can read it on our watch list and do follow along. Nothing strong as the earnings play that you see in Arcadia, but I got fooled by a bit of a bidder here at 750 that got held up. Now, if it tries to hold 720 and buys into 8 even, I'm going to get back into the short on this particular play here. Still no BlackBerry short. I want that to break the low. Come on.
All right. Yeah. Look, BlackBerry. Yeah, that's going to be a problem today for BlackBerry shareholders, I feel. Okay. Just looking at NEO again. So what we're doing right here again. This is a big name. We saw XPEV today completes that longest autonomous drive in the history of autonomous driving. $38, $39 to the top here, and we're getting this barcoding action happening on NEO right now, where we're not really sure of what we want to do with this name. So I'm sure that I want to buy it, but I'm pretty sure. Hey, what's up? There we go. Is that 2,000 likes already or 1,000? 1,000. We need 2V. Okay, 30 guys, hit the like button, hit the share button. Let's get this show on the road here. I mean, we're free and we're going over all this. We have a free watch list. You got the sticky note, you got the polls, you got everything here. Let us know what else you want. 38.60 to the bottom here of NEO. I still think, I mean, if we can do a little bit of a longer time frame here, I still think we can get into this 37.50. So I do have some orders parked down low, into this area here, 38.50, not 38.50, they're lower. They're 38.20, and so to start to build a position. And then if I have to get out, I'm really thinking that this, I mean, look at these levels, man. This 37 to me on a strong stock, we keep getting love every day. Thanks for shouting out NEO, and thanks for doing this at 34, 35. I mean, we just talked about it at 34 yesterday. Move this out of the way. And now today you're up to 39. So it's been a big move for NEO, but I like it into the teeth of this 37. So I'm already just planned it out for you. I'm going to go long if we do a dip. NEO can dip down. So I love playing quarters, so we'll put an order at like 38.30, and then we'll put another order at like 38 to dig in, and then the real order will come like around here, 37.80, 37.90, something like that, with a hold for an absolute disaster print down to 37. So let's wait to see if that comes through, but I like NEO for the long side of everything that I'm looking at. That's one of my favorites to go with Apple, which we've already discussed, and I already have bids into the low side of here too. Oh man, I was bidding 121.15. We only got as low there on that tick as 25. So maybe we'll put an order, maybe we'll fix that, put it at 25. Look at Apple, guys, down into 120 looks great as well. So we're gonna hold out for an Apple long. Oh no, there goes NEO right now. It's gonna take out 39. What's on the imbalance locator, guys? Cliffs, so there you go. So some resource names are going to be the day today. Palantir looks like it's trying to go as well. We'll see that at 23.50, a big level, 23. 10-cent music. There's a lot on here. There's your X as well. U.S. Steel. All buys, and except for the names that we've talked about. BlackBerry, Yikes, BAC, and Ford. Some of the names that have been flying a little bit, some of these banks here, probably going to give something back today, guys.
We could talk about NEO without talking about Tesla, but we're not going to. Tesla yesterday, that was a good long. We talked about a couple of breakout opportunities. I just want to highlight this 650. It's not quite a 650 double top because we're testing 49s in the pre-market, but that does coincide with pre-market on the 26th. We did have that level as well that couldn't go through. It gave all kinds of there's a lot of chop around this 35 to 36 area, which is, that was a dip buy area, was sort of obvious on a swing play that you held against you, and what a pickup 60 was. We talked about that, that hold there at 96 area and then through 60. If we get back into like a 635, 636, that's where I like to dip on Tesla. But I think all systems go, we're going to get a 650 break today. I'm not going to be shorting off of that level, not in Tesla. My shorts, I'll try to restrict to this Arcadia, which I just got back into, and then hopefully BlackBerry if we do get it. And, wow, I just got into BlackBerry. That's actually hilarious. So I complain long enough about it, and it breaks the low of the day. I got some at 64. There's 65 breaks. I'm probably going to dig a little bit into this one here, and this is not it is what it is. I literally am the only person in the world besides Arun that has a BlackBerry phone. But you got to play the price action. You have to play the big time disappointment that earnings revenues were trash. And it's a transitioning company. And just because you make a transition into security, it can be viable. It can be a good move for them, which it certainly is. But it doesn't mean it's going to be good for the stock price in the near term. That's just the reality of a move like this, and they're still in the midst of it here, and that's why they're under pressure. Still having trouble with those patent sales. Maybe some of that will come through in a bit.
When did they transition into that? Wasn't that like a year ago?
But they're still doing it, and it's still not. And it's look, revenues are down year over year. There's just a lot, negative, bad going on. It's like in the money 5 cents or so. But let's see if we can't dig into this one. BlackBerry downside.
Yeah, you got to watch out for that. Brendan will come out with some news for us. Bitcoin, we haven't talked about that much today, so let's just do a quick highlight. It's ripping right now, 58.5. So Bitcoin resisting that 57. I put out a tweet yesterday on a poll. Which one did you think was going to be the best moving forward? I think Cardano, but I put Dogecoin on there because I thought it would be better for Twitter. But then I started people saying Cardano. So Cardano right now, 119 today. I'm a buyer of Cardano all the time, so we could talk about that more. But right now, the market's about to open into some fanfare. Let's see what the NASDAQ is saying today. Okay, SNDL sell. Other than that, nothing. We'll watch for an Apple break on the high side, guys, coming up soon, as well as an 850 break on BB.
Yes, sir. And that Arcadia, by the way, just got into that 844 area. I did take some out initially for like a 9-cent scalp trade, and we're going to get more in front of that 320 just as we planned. I'm not taking the BlackBerry. I'll take more shares only after the open. It's only seconds to the open. You want to make sure that you're opening up here. And then watch out for Tesla through that top 650. It's only $4 away, and I like it on the dip as well. So it's, like I said, it's kind of hump day, but it's also kind of not hump day. It is what it is. That TOP, just quickly before the open, Brennan brought this one to a new entrant into the NFT space, looking all kinds of weak. If it pops to like 14 off the open, I want to be able to short that one for sure. But it's starting to run away from us here. Good look by Brennan. And a good look by Ms. V to wear the green today, because obviously it looks like that could be a good one. Snapchat just popped in for me on a breakout. 3, 2, and 1 is going to be action.
All right, let's see what happens here. The NASDAQ just chilling out right now. We'll see about Apple going through this 122 level, maybe a bounce down to 121 and change. We'll have to check that out. There goes BlackBerry to the downside. We take an 850 break, but this may not give us anything, but let's just wait to see how far down BlackBerry wants to go here on that break. That's my only position right now is a BlackBerry short, and we're going to give that some room, so I'm going to try to hold that all day. Here comes Chewy right back into that 90-50 level, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Wiz, just in and out quickly on Snap. I'm going to hold on to some of this because it just dips down to like this 50 area, and that looks like a reload to me. So quickly broke that 50. I got out some right in front of 51 for a quick little scalp, and now I want to make sure we get a bit of a reload on Snapchat. Just took the bottom there at 50. Now it does have some cover all the way into this like 49, 50 area. So we're going to do both. We're going to buy the dip. We're going to take the breakout as well. I got to go back over to BlackBerry because I said I would wait until after the open to maybe get into some more shares here. I do have a bid in front of 850, but if it comes back into that 75 range, I think it's going to be an ad.
Okay, so we're also digging into Chewy right now as well, up to that 90-50 level. So here's a couple buys on Chewy. We bought 91s, then we bought 90-50, and then on the downside here, again, a big move off that number. And I said I don't really want to play breakouts, so I'm not. So we're just going to average into Chewy a little bit here. I still like that 87.50 level. I got to give it down to that if we're going to do anything. NEO comes right back in, right where we thought it would. So we pick up NEO right now. Let's see, man, the NASDAQ failing there. We still have this 37.50 level. I don't want to, again, dig myself into a huge hole here, but we're long NEO and we're long Chewy, and I like both of these positions. This is what we talk about on a daily basis, man. Try to buy some of these dips in NEO. If the NASDAQ doesn't hold, then so be it, and this trade won't work out, but we're going to give it down to 37.50, guys. Trying to just plan these out for you as best as I can. And then downside on Chewy, we're going to try to buy it until 87.50, which will drop it off if it goes down that low. I'm hoping and thinking it does not.
And Tesla making another bounce up here to try to test that 650. Now, obviously, it doesn't get there. We're making a hard reversal. I still have the order. We still like it to the long side. I didn't get more BlackBerry. I hate your guts, BlackBerry, for that one. Didn't pick up more shares, but that Arcadia, we'll come back to that when we go from Brendan.
Recent high flyer here, crypto related, the 9 limited NCTY, big flush in the pre-market here on an offering. Remember, they bought a whole bunch of mining machines recently. $30 here seems to be a bit of a target, but huge volume, guys. NCTY.
9. We talked about GE yesterday, and you can see obviously today with the ES ripping up like crazy. GE does take that out. It's not on my board, so we'll have to wait. So far, not really so good, but Chewy chilling, NEO doing absolutely nothing. We'll wait to see it. Here we go. Okay, bang! There it is. Your first bang of the day comes right here, right now. Boom for Chewy, a nice little long there, taking that out. That 70-cent win. We'll wait for Chewy, guys. I still think we can get to 93, 93.50, and then celebrate a monster for you. So we are long, and here we go, man. NEO now 13 pennies now in the money and trying to rip, and then there it is, as promised, guys. Money where our mouth is. There's the Afria long. It went down to 18.20, so we're going to use this as now a new bottom, 18. We go long at 18.50. Let's see where we fly, man. So far, so good. Stocks just bouncing here on a very, very choppy open here on the last day of the quarter. But there goes Afria, 10 cents in the money.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of forward moonwalk action there. Walk on some water for Snapchat. There's the break. It gives you like a 50-cent move, 50-50 we talked about. The dip in front of 50 even, picked up some shares at 50-11. I get some out in front of what? 50-50. I'll take some out in front of 75, and then we'll see if we can't run through the high of the day as well. The only thing that's, and I'll get to Arcadia in a second, the only thing that's really not working here, and when I say not working, it's in the money, and it's because it's not dying. That's basically the thing. I actually thought BlackBerry would be testing SSR, short sell restricted, at some point today, down 10%. It's leveling off at 860. I do have the 64s only. I didn't get any more shares at 74, and I'm going to try to be patient with it. Tesla as well cannot seem to break that 650 area. Snapchat still looking good. Arcadia, on the other hand, this is going to happen to you. I was looking at a lot of names off the open, and I already had this 44 short. It gave me all the way down to those 20s that I talked about, so we already scalped off most of this trade. But there was a chance to get the same price off high of the day right at 9:30. But you have to limit the number of things you want to take at that 9:30 open, guys. You can't hit absolutely everything. I got that Snapchat last second, and I wanted BlackBerry. You saw that. And the price of missing this was to get into those two winning trades.
Names popping up, guys, on the volume scanner that haven't been for the past little while. This is one of them already. Look at the daily chart. Volume coming in on Apple here, guys. 1.4% trying to hold 121.50. Datadog was another one on an alert, guys.
Why did my Apple not fill there? 121.15. Did it go down that low? 121. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, we would be monstrous right now. I'm bidding 121.15. I feel like Mark Roberts up in the building right now, because that was my price, and we should have got long there, and we did not. Damn it! I said I would change that too, didn't I? And we didn't. So darn it. 121.25 would have been a much better area for that. But no worries on that. Neo now, we just took some out at 50 there. Good little price, 25 cents. So playing the quarters, long at 25, out some there at 50 is now. We're still watching that NASDAQ. Oh man, I'm pissed off about that Apple, because that would have been a nice little win for us. But we'll move on, because there's always more fish to fry, including Chewy right now. Yeah, oh my God. Chewy down to 89 and change. So we just picked up another bid down here at 89.17. Again, we're going to drop this off. It'll be a hit, obviously, but right now things moving for us nicely. Look at the weed stocks, guys. Money. Go long at 18.50. It goes up to 65, 75. There, let's take a bit more off. Afria, beauty trade.
Tesla just broke out a little bit here, but I also have to manage our friend, I suppose I should say, that Snapchat. So 650 break. Snapchat, on the other hand, just took out that 50 again, and I had an order at 75s. I saw a big seller, so I took some out of 50s. I'm holding through a break of 51 even. I'm trying to hang on to this one for a little bit. So Tesla long, we just got it 650, 26 to the long side in Tesla. And BlackBerry finally, we're going to do a bit of a power up, because it finally broke that 850. So briefly, I took the first leg out for a 17-cent win at 48. So that's just 20% of the position. I want this down at about $8. I think it has a decent chance to get there. So Tesla long, Snapchat long, and add that BlackBerry that we're hanging on to. Brendo?
Credit Suisse trying to bounce, guys. 2 days downside after that Archegos mess. Just tested this pre-market high here. 1050, 1075. Decent volume for CS.
Yeah, Credit Suisse. Yeah, looking for some new names here. Just looking back at the board here. 10 cent, waiting for 22. Let's check on Palantir. Neo not really going. We took another spot out there at 50 again on the upside. So again, if the market wants to fall down, then fine. But right now it's ripping, and Neo is not. So we'll take some more out. I still do think high side here. So by no means do I believe that this trade is done on Neo, and actually want to get longer if we come near this 38. So we'll wait on that one. Chewy. We're out of the money $1, but it just keeps on heading to the south side. We still have that 87.50. I can't be a man of my word and not hold it down to there. So we'll wait on that. I'm still holding the big shares here on BlackBerry, so we'll wait to see what that wants to do now to the downside. Lower, hopefully, and maybe a regroup up to 870, something like that. But I'm going to hold that trade and see how far we can make bank on that, if at all. It just resisted. Basically, when we had it, it went down 5 cents. Obviously, we're not taking a 5-cent winner, so let's see how much lower this one can go. And Chewy looks like we're going to get tested at that 87.50, guys. So if it holds, it holds. If it doesn't, It doesn't, if that makes any sense, and we'll get out of that very, very soon as it's trying to bounce. There's an 88.50. Let's put another bid there, see if we get tested down 88.50. Oh, here it comes. Look at the spread, man, 50 cents.
Yeah, and Arcadia right into that low. Look, I shorted this one in the pre-market and was right into this $3 level. I told you all the trouble that it had getting through there, and so every time it shorted, I got it in front. No different with that 350 area, guys. So I just got out of position at 311. Look, if you ever take 10% on these ones, especially the ones that seem strong, these little gappers. This was on earnings. You want to make sure you go ahead and do that. I did and I've done this a few times here. If we level off for that first $1.50 in Tesla, usually I'm anticipating a dip buy opportunity, so I take some off and think that I'm actually going to be able to get 47s or 48s. That's like the third time that's happened, but I don't mind. You never go broke taking profits and anticipating if you like the trend that you're going to get in multiple times. I got in multiple times in Tesla yesterday, and I'm prepared to do the same thing again today. So if we do get a dip, I have taken some profit, and I'm looking back towards this 47 to 49 area. I mean, it is VWAP, but it's not the only thing that it is. Snapchat, just to come back to this name, I still have that long and again, I'm holding this for a break of that 51. You go to the higher time frame. Look, this is the daily chart here, and there is that top end level around 852, and then these tops at 52.50 that we can concern ourselves with. So a lot of room to go to the upside as we're approaching 13,000 on the NASDAQ. That's reason to hang on to Tesla. That's reason to hang on to Snapchat or whichever name you happen to have. And the other end of that trade is no reason to get out of BlackBerry shorts.
Yeah, Palantir here. We'll try some in the 60s, I think, and then just see what happens, because Palantir goes without us there. As we were waiting for a little bit lower, we're trying to do the same trade that we did on NEO with Palantir on the dip buy. But as you can see, a little different fate happening to NEO than happening to Tesla, because this doesn't want to go up.
What?
We've gotten some out on the upside now, but right here failing. Like, you thought that the NASDAQ, I'm really happy with the names that I have today, but not with the action that this is giving us. So we're going to have to watch out for 37.50. We said we're definitely not going to die on a sword here. So let's just make sure that we do have the right orders out for NEO. And if we can get longer, we'll do it right here. But other than that, no. Apple, new trade alert here for Apple. So a couple backflips. We did miss, guys, that 121.15. That's embarrassing, because we should have that and we'd be $1 plus now in the money. But we do take a 122 break, and then we do have that 122.50 on the horizon as well. But right now, man, the stock that continues to disappoint is Chewy. It's just going down to the downside. We were up 15-16%. I guess this one doesn't want to go. Look at the NASDAQ. I told you guys today.
It's super strong.
Let's fight off the hot dogs today. I told you, very first thing out of my mouth was that the NASDAQ was going to be super strong today. Congratulations, anybody that listened, at least to that part. There goes Afria, 15 cents up. Hit us up, Brendo.
Yeah, this group leading, guys. Chip makers very strong right out of the gate. AMD just popping up here through 77 on AMD was more than 1.5%, but decent volume on the chip makers, guys.
All right.
Yeah, you're gonna see strength in a couple of names here. I was just looking at AMAT trying to take out this 131 again, and I mean, Tesla can't seem to break past that like 62. But I looked at XPEV here, XPeng, sorry, I should say, and I look at NEO coming to the downside. XPeng trying to hold these lows. Both Tesla and XPEV relatively strong, and obviously they had their own news going. But if NEO makes a bounce, which it kind of makes no sense in this rally that they're not going anywhere, you can actually pick these up off good support. And I'm looking at this 34.17. I don't love being long both Tesla and NEO, so I'd go tight stop on this trade that I'm going to put on here in XPEV. But if I have a stop at like this 34.15, it makes a fresh low. I like the fact that we're going upside. Tesla's holding above 650. If NEO makes a turn, there's just no way XPEV's not testing 35s.
So out a bit there on Afria, which again, spin it. We're doing this right now, so hopefully some good trades here coming to the upside. We've just been cleaning this out. I was trying to get longer down here. I guess I can cancel that now because we don't have any worries about that long position, and we don't have too many worries about NEO. We're loaded up, man. 38.06 is now my average price. So that's we believe in this trade. So let's see if it can go to the upside here and turn this day around for us. Chewy trying to bounce as well. This could be a monster day, but again, the Nasdaq's already made the move that we thought it would. And some of these names that we're in are not moving. So I may take some more pieces off here on NEO. I think that might be just, the more prudent thing to do. Yep. Although I am still expecting for a big rip on this stock. It's just very, very surprised it hasn't happened yet. What up, B?
A few of these NFT names going, guys. YVR from Vancouver. In fact, just halting here at 470. Volatility halt for YVR.
And hit the money sign there because XPEV, nice little bounce play. Look, you're always going to go to related names when you see something funky on the charts, and I just saw it was funky to death there with Neil at the bottom, Tesla breaking out, and a good support level on XPEV. Now it's making the test at 35. Because I'm already hanging on, I'm gonna take this out right here at 35, and then hang on to my Tesla, which is now running $4 into the money. So anytime you can make a range-bound trade like that, it's fine. I don't mind all day long. I'm gonna have this Tesla through. It never really gave the dip. It couldn't break that 650, so I'm hanging on for dear life. 655 break in play, and we talked about there's a 666 number, which just trust me about this one. There was a bit of a level and all kinds of chop around 666. So if it gets anywhere near there, I'll try to take like 14, 15 bucks maximum on that move. Of course, if it gets to that price, 680 does stand out a little bit as well. So Tesla on the run, nice little pickup there on XPEV, and Snapchat can't seem to go more than $1 in the money. I'm hanging on to that as well.
So we did clean out some NEO there at 30, like I said, at 38.13. We're actually up on the stock, even though it's down, and we've only been picking some longs. This was a big position there. So we're going to hold the rest of this until that 37 bottom, not even 37.50, like 37 even. If it comes down to 37.50, I am prepared, guys, to average in one more time on this name, and why the hell not? We're here to make some money, right? So let's see if NEO can give it to us. It's been a big runner. We just need it to go. I don't know if it's going to today. That NASDAQ was a big one, so we're gonna give this one only down to 37. Just an update on Apple. It did go to that 122.40 area. We wanted 50s before we were gonna go long, so we wait on that one, maybe bring it back to the downside. So a quick little 20-cent profit on the first half, and then now we're holding half of this position. So we've already cleaned that out. Let's see if we can get upside now. 122.50. Basically, my day is right now, going back and forth between Chewy and NEO. That's really where it is, because I've already cleaned up the Afria trade. And then here we go. Microsoft bottom 232. Basically looks like garbage. We're going to move off from Microsoft. Let's check out Facebook quickly for you guys. Come on, charts. Oh, man, chop, chop, chop again. So this is probably why, man, even though the market is ripping, I got to find some different names, man. I'm on the completely wrong names. If I was on better names today, I think I would have made a little bit more money than we're already making, but we'll have to wait on Apple, not Snapchat, that's Neil's.
Whoa.
Chewy and NEO. What's up, Brendan?
Cannabis names starting to go here, guys. CGC just took out day highs there, 32.75. Decent volume, 3.5% already for CGC.
So, I mean, I just, scanning for names, you mentioned there, Sean, so I'm like, what's Zoom doing? This is why we say sometimes buy the dip and be very, very careful at 9:30, because sometimes it's the opposite of the move that happens at 9:30. And look at Zoom here, down $4, and then now up like $6 from that little open price, $10 move, bottom to top here. So always pay attention to, or be careful, especially on some of these higher flying names with thinner spreads. Zoom is at the bottom end of this range and looking for a potential like 325-ish breakout. If it gets there, there's at least like $10, $15 worth of upside, so like a 340. So we file that one away. This Snapchat is the only one here, and like I like to hold in Tesla, that's working pretty well, but as I look at Snapchat, really, really starting to round off the top. If it does a bit of a dip, I'd probably try a defense around 50-50. I know my last entry was at that 50-11. I'd probably try it at 50-50, see if we can hold up. The market is just so strong. I would like to see some real continuation in some of these names. Tesla giving me a chance to buy the dip. I said I'd try it like 47s or so. Not quite there, but I want to buy that dip. That's why we took profit on the way up.
Okay, NEO, everything's ripping, man. I mean, look at Afria. Beautiful trade upside right now. Let's take a little bit more off at 89. Boom! Big trade right there. The pins lined up for that move on Afria. And here we go, 50 cents now. Well, is my math correct there? 42 cents in the money now. I want to give a big shout out, to the man, obviously, that I love, my father, watching from home today. So what's up, Dad? Thank you for all the opportunities that you've given me and for teaching me all about the markets. And just, we used to watch Mad Money together, Jim Cramer on CNBC. So shout out to you, and shout out to you, my lovely mother as well. Take it easy on the old man there if you can. Afria upside, so that's a good little take there. Okay, let's just regroup a little bit here, because NEO, this is the funny thing. I often do this where I say, NEO's in trouble, NEO's in trouble, and what do? Just keep on averaging in. But this time, it's a little bit different, or is it? We have this 37 area that I'm not going to hold past this. So look, if this comes crashing down and we wind up getting burned on this one, then so be it. You can go into the gates of hell, NEO, if that's what winds up happening. Obviously, if I just traded Tesla, we'd be at 5 times daily goal by now, but I did not. We are holding out on Chewy, man. We had that 87.50 bottom. That looks good, but look what happens now. It comes right back to VWAP and then turns around. So let's put an order out here to get out a little bit, 89.50 if we can. Our average price is 89.90, so we're not going to cry over spilled milk. It's not a very big trade, but we have to wait on that one. If Neo and Chewy can go, man, we're going to be monstrous. So let's just fingers crossed on these trades. And adios, Afria, looking at 19 right in the face, guys.
Oh, by the way, that Arcadia broke that $3 mark. I didn't get any shares. Probably should have paid down to like 95 or so. If it comes back to like a 97 or 98, I'll probably try to get into it. We talked about the potential for dips on Lululemon. I said there'd be a day trade if we get anywhere close to that 85 range. It's trying to get to like 300 right now. So let's watch out 300 even on Lululemon. And again, you can have good earnings, but the market can punish you for it. And the trend was not necessarily kind to Lulu there. And I think that's part of the reason why you get the pullback. I tried at 47. I'm going to go ahead. Let's just cancel that order, guys. If I can catch off VWAP here, a better bounce play off Tesla, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think just, I was trying to be not aggressive enough. I'm trying to catch that little bid there, unfortunately for me. So I don't actually get more shares into Tesla like I wanted, but I am about to get more shares into you, BlackBerry. So it comes right, look, it was 865 break that I took originally.
Damn it.
I'm going to get more shares here in the 60s if I can as it starts to run away from my order. Should have just punched. Oh, that's right. Short sell restricted on BlackBerry. It is short sell restricted because I can't actually hit that bid. But either way, I'm going to add here in the 60s if I can on BlackBerry. I want to dig into that short. Ms. V?
Hey Neil, Elite Education Group is the name from the chat. EEIQ is up around 12%. Back to you.
So there was this entire, it was like the Chinese education group had a big run the other day, and it was all about just simply playing momentum. I was involved in some different names. EIQ, oddly enough, was the one that I would not touch because it doesn't do a lot of volume. It's 400,000 shares in volume. This is why you have the volatility halts all over the place. It is not very liquid. Of course, that level 2 doesn't want to flitch for me, guys. But it's not a very liquid name, guys. So I'd be very, very cautious here. If it has multiple halts to the upside, maybe I'd get involved. But that is not something I want to dig into when liquidity is basically like Banana Republic levels.
Okay, guys, there's Apple. You guys want the big trade. Superman is in the building on Apple. We talked about buying that one all day long, so there we are. It's the money bags, and if you're watching, my parents, please close your eyes. That's actually not me. If you can't guess that, then there's a problem. You might want to have your eyes checked, but Apple, 2.38%. Look at this move, man. 122, bang. Then we go long through 122.50, as promised. Out there, 69. Now we continue to rip to the high side, 123. I mean, I pegged this one for you, and honestly, I can't do this any better for you guys on Apple. We talked about it all throughout, man. There's that 122 level. There's that 122.50, and there's 123. If you did want to talk about the sticky note there, you can check it out on Twitter, but there it is, 122, 122.50 right there. We love you long time. The only thing that we hate is Chewy, because Chewy does go down, breaks that 87.50, drops to 87. I get right back in, and it rips up $1, but now we got to wait to see how high Chewy wants to fly. Hopefully a lot higher, because I just took a hit. What up, Beep?
Another one that we haven't talked about in a while, guys. ChargePoint, one of the EV, I should say, charge station companies, 10% here. They released a corporate update this morning on their plan for expansion across the U.S. with their charging stations. $25 right here, right now for ChargePoint, guys.
Woo-ha.
Ooh, woo-ha. We got you all in check. And BlackBerry, we always got you in check. Roll over that 60s. I was able to get more shares. It gets to like 50 again, and there seems to be a bit of a buyer down there. So if I have to always take out some profit at 10 cents, I'm just going to have to go ahead and do it. That's going to be the plan of action for me. Bought the dip on Tesla. And look, we're screaming to the upside here. And I feel like it was a jinx, but it's like, Tesla actually just made a bit of a reversal. So I picked some up at VWAP. Now we're retesting. Look, it never printed down to that 47, trust me. This one, a little bit real here at 48. We've got to be able to hold that 647 area. Otherwise, decent chance we test like a 43 or 44, and then you want to buy that dip in Tesla. So watch out. It's going the other way from the NASDAQ. Tesla showing some weakness again.
Yeah, I'm just tweeting this out at tradertv.live here, because we just pounded this Apple, and it was just a great, great trade. You can see where we just got out right now, 123 on Apple. So high five there, because Apple just continues to rip up. Man, that was a banger of a trade. When we talked about it, and I told you that there was going to be some huge NASDAQ love today out now. So Apple, we're basically flat. bang at 122. Like, this is how I trade, guys. It's called the quarters. So 122 in, right? So that's the flat. Then we take out 25s. Then we go long 50s. Then we take out 75s. Then we take out the even level on the upside. So let's see if it's still motors, man. Yeah, geez, Neo, like on the way back up. It's funny because I'm not even down on this stock. I'm actually up on Neo. I just need to get it. I mean, depends. Position pending, but Neo needs to go. If the market, I mean, come on, the Nasdaq's up 1.2%. Like I talked about this when it was up 0.6 that we would fly today. So wrong stock central. Your boy has the wrong stocks today. Look at Neo, just continues to go down as the Nasdaq continues to make highs. So wrong stocks for me today, but I'm glad, Neil, you have a couple big wins there as well. So good on you, and should have picked Tesla along with you there.
I mean, I literally just got out of some Tesla, and then I was like, wait a minute, turn. I saw this level here at 644. I misread that, by the way, guys. It said like 42, 43. This is actually like 644, 645. And the second I realized that mistake, I meant to get into some shares. I got into too many because I thought it was shy of my level. I ended up jumping back into some here, guys. But either way, now a 47 long, which let's see how it works here. I might have to take some out in front of 650. I don't get why Tesla and Neo are looking relatively weak, but I don't want to dig in too deep here. Even Snapchat not showing the strength that I wanted. Brendan?
Another one of those Chinese crazy online education stocks, WAFU, was also halted. This was actually a 10-minute halt here, but it did resume. Downside now, back to 10 here, 25% though for WAFU, guys.
Yeah, and of course, XPEV is still going, right? So I take out XPEV to trade more Tesla, and then take the hit in Tesla, and XPEV is the one that continues to run to the upside. So the name that I probably like the least in this entire group, well, at least the Chinese EVs and Tesla, yeah, that's the one that seems to be getting the bounce. Just a quick second here, Sean. I just want to go over to where are you? Here's Intel here, guys. Load. There we go. Intel making a bit of a bounce back to like 640. This was an interesting dip buy, and I love Intel at these levels. It's more of a long-term play, this foundry thing, but look at the consolidation right here at this 64. Previous highs, dip down, make a top. Right in the middle is this 64, sort of primed for a bit of a breakout. As far as Tesla goes, I'm going to take some out if it gets back to that 650. Give me like $3 back so I can make some of the money back, and then still trying to hang on because we're still making fresh tops in the markets. I want to hold these longs.
Yeah, I want to get into Palantir. I mean, everything's working out now for me. It's too bad that this had to happen, really, because if I have my levels a little bit lower, but how long can I hold this? I mean, we took a nice win initially off of some averaged in, and there we go. We just got out again for another $1, but we've dropped it down. So now I'm done getting out of Chewy, and I'm gonna have to try to reward myself for holding. So let's see if we get back to 89.50. If we can get back to 89.50, hey, I'll forget about all the damage that was done right here because we did reload it, and now we'll see if we can take that smooth dollar back. Remember, my average price was like 88.90 or so. So when we dumped off at 87.50, it was like about $1.40 hit. So we can make some of this back, and I do plan on doing that. So let's see if, I mean, I can't control the market, but here we go. Here goes Neo. So this is a good one, man. Where are my outs on here? I actually don't have any outs, so I think this is a good spot. 83, we'll take some out right there. We're long at 73 on Neo. So we take it out right now. This was another big position. This was the biggest one out of them all, but we averaged in a little bit here. So again, Neo in the money now. Well, not in the money, was just in the money when we got out. We got to keep taking those highs every time. If we can get back into the 90s, probably worth unloading. I'm very, very nervous about the top heavy NASDAQ right now. So Brendan, give me some good news about a NASDAQ name.
I was just reading about this Co-Diagnostics. Speaking of NASDAQ, guys, this quietly was involved, if you can see on the daily chart there, in this sell-off that we've seen in certain stocks over the past few days. All the way back down to 850, 830 area for Co-Diagnostics. CEO comes out this morning, updates everyone on the company's plans moving forward in the future. So nice pop here. I mean, it was up about 7-8% at one point, but just broke back through 9 on CODX, guys.
Oh, good look, Codex. And you're not going to be able to catch all of them. We go arrows up, threw a couple of names at you guys when we were talking about this tech, and one of them was going to be AMAT. We talked about Marvel as well. Marvel's not as good of a day trade, but it is what it is. The only thing outside of a small cap that Arcadia that we talked about to the short side. And here comes short sell restricted, 10% to the downside on BlackBerry, as it again tests 840. I've only had a couple of entries here, 65s, and then again here at 60. Look, like I said, I think we have a decent chance to get to that $8 mark, so I'm going to get some bids down here. I just want to be exposed to the idea that if I'm sitting in it all day long, I don't want to have to worry about throwing some bids out there, so I want to get one out in front of like the 30s, in front of the quarters, out in front of that 8 even. And it is what it is. You can say what you want about them, but not necessarily the best look for them off of those earnings. Away from AMAT, just to go back over to some other names, because in the cyclical space, I just want to throw some things out to you guys that are making some moves. You have a Boeing to the upside here as well, guys. So this is not only tech related. Boeing showing a lot of strength. So this is more broad move than I think we're giving it credit for in the overall market.
Your boy is back, so we'll hit the smile. Hell yeah. Everything in the money huge right now, guys. Chewy can go to hell, but we do like it. Big move up on Chewy. Great move here. 66 cents. Boom, we're back. That's why you see Weed Batman. We just tweeted that one out as well. Big move on Batman on Afria. Long 1850, bang, 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 bang. And this is the difference, man. Like when I've got shares on board, you see multiple outs. And that'll just really tell you the story of what's happening right now on board. Look at NEO. I told you we dumped some out. It goes right up to VWAP on another NASDAQ push. So, hey, NEO, your next movement, man. Let's get into the 30s. If we can get up there, then hell yeah. And then here is the name that I've lost. My only losing stock today is Chewy, and it was a bad one all the way down to my breaking point. Wish it didn't do that, or we would be hella huge today in the market. But again, shout out to everybody watching. Hit that like, hit that share. Let's make this show the biggest and best. It's already the best, but let's make it the biggest show on YouTube if we can. Was that a B. Wickens call I heard?
Guys, real quick, I just realized it's 10 o'clock. I'm late. CLF, 15%. Straight upside. Iron ore producer, yeah, ahead of that Biden speech coming tonight. $20 here, huge level. This is 52-week highs for CLF.
We'll hit a yeehaw for you, Brent. Don't worry about being late, man. This market is moving. Let's be real. Like it's, I know you got to trade as well, but finally, we admit our mistakes. I live misread my chart on Tesla for the dip area, so I ended up getting out of the shares. The second I realized the mistake, I had to jump back into it, picking at the bottom. I said I'd take some out in front of 650, which I went ahead and did. It's $3 from that move. It was also that re-entry price off of VWAP. Now, if we can test to the top, 655 is the top end here. I will take this out in front and then look for a breakout at 655 or a dip down into this chop zone where it feels like we've made a bit of a base in Tesla. So nice move there. Finally, Snapchat makes another move at that 51, but look at this heavy consolidation. While I'm messing around in Tesla, there's just as good of a dip buy at that 50-50 area. I've only made the 2 trades in Snap. The initial 50-50 break went to 51, the dip into 50. Took some of it out at the halfway mark and been holding on ever since for the extended move. I don't want to give up these long trades. I mean, the way that this market is moving to the upside, you want to make sure you're giving yourself some exposure. It's not an all-day move, but a big upward move that we're seeing, except for you, BlackBerry. Continue to fall. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, BlackBerry. I'm huge on BlackBerry today as well. And check out Palantir. Come on, baby, let's go. It's my baby, Palantir. Straight now, $22.75. What a great bid that was. Let's take out 50 or 25 cents right now at that 23 level. Again, we wrote on the sticky note right here that Palantir, where is it? It's somewhere on there, right in the middle. Will it resist 23? Here we are, 23. So, like, I made that call when we were down here at 22, right? So, just missed it off the open. We were trading other things. As you guys know, it's still kind of the open. It's 10 o'clock, right? So, a nice little 25-cent move here on Palantir. And by the way, bring the pain today as we'll throw it. You know what? Let's throw it out to my dad's heritage right here and do a little pizza pie. And we'll go, Mamma Mia, for NEO as it's ripping to the high side right now, 38.12. Look at these positions we have. Let's just, before I throw to Brendan, it's review time. Apple right now, 75 cents in the money and still ripping off the call that we made. We gave you 1850 early on Afria. Boom, there's another call that I made. BlackBerry, big trade here through 850, bang, bang. Nice little trade there. Chewy, we're making it back, baby. Let's just get out at 89.50 if we can. Nice little $1.50 in the money on Chewy. 40 cents in the money on NEO when we were just a bit higher than that. And then Palantir, 20 cents in the money. So here we go, guys. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 6. Brendan, give it to us.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock. As we mentioned, let's have a look at North American markets. Yeah, look at the NASDAQ leading the way. Nice to see both the composite and the 100 about 1.5% to the upside, where the Dow and the S&P, not bad, 0.5%, but the Dow basically flat at this point. It's been the leader over the past week or so, so taking a breather here for the Dow. The Russell back to life as well. 1.2% was down yesterday. 3% move higher, though, the prior day, 0.13% here in Toronto for the TSX. Couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market on the watch list. Lululemon, yeah, earnings were okay, but yeah, some people taking some profits, I guess. 312 all the way down to 300, as Neil was mentioning there. Big level for Lululemon. The one I thought personally was going to be strong was exactly the opposite. TME just getting crushed again today, all the way back to 20.5 or 10 cent. Guys, back to you.
So I'm going to go with a little bit of bowling action because it's been a while since we used that graphic. This is not a short, guys, but I actually had a profit-taking order out on Tesla through the top. And when it did this rollover, I just quickly punched out of it so I can buy a dip again. And probably not going to get 645 next time. Probably look at like a 46 or 47. But we bought that dip. We had to get back into position. But when I saw that rollover, I still like a break at 655. I like a long-off consolidation. So I feel like we can get back into this name. So Tesla working really well. I mean, obviously, BlackBerry's dying at that slow death. I want to get to that. There are some small caps moving around that Arcadia, which of course on those earnings. I did short this $3 break, and now it's in consolidation. So if it continues to show weakness, I'll add more around 3, but I'm also willing to sell up around this 310, 315 area on Arcadia. There were a couple of others, but mostly not very exciting, as far as I'm concerned. We'll check back in on TME here. I thought there was a chance that these were going to break out, and I say I got to be willing to short off these levels. For someone who shorts all the time, I look at those levels in a breakout and never want to short in front of them. It's ridiculous on Tencent, on Viacom, on VIPs. Only want to seem to catch those longs for the rubber band action, but those levels are just as good for short areas. At some point, maybe I'll actually learn that lesson.
Okay, here comes the NASDAQ to the downside, guys, and this is why, like, we ring the register. When Neil comes back here to this VWAP, and we talked about, like, all of these levels, guys, coming through, I thought that we were going to hold out for a little bit higher of 38.30, 38.40, but here we are, man, right back into the teeth of this, and it went. So I do have a little more faith now in NIO, but it's drawing thin a little bit here because we are way to the backside. I did see something on Square today, and we'll throw to Brendan if there is anything. But Square up 6 today, which is huge because I don't really, I mean, oh yeah, let's check in on PaySafe. I hear that that's going to the south side. We haven't looked at that yet, and we should. Yeah, 14, I mean, look at this. So new name today, and yeah, it's getting killed. There was just some size there at 20. Maybe this is the bottom, and again, we can call up BFT again here. Let's just check a quick daily chart before I throw to Brendan on BFT, because remember, this is the same stock, so I can't go back on PaySafe unless your charts have switched it over, but 14's a level for BFT, so we are getting close to that right now on PSFE. Brendo, something on SQ?
Man, Square, yeah, wow, that is an impressive move. I mean, there's a couple of upgrades. There's a couple of double upgrades, in fact, for Square, including by this Keefe, Briette, and Woods, but nothing significant as far as the actual company is concerned. Kathy Wood talking about Square again. SQ, guys, 6.5. Wow, big move.
Yeah, well, Kathy Wood can talk all she wants about Palantir because that's making moves to the upside. Look at this trade on Palantir, guys. We're at 23, so this is where the cash just comes in, man. This is what we're doing, and we're making that money today, and it's been a good one for us. There's 23. We'll take a piece off there. Boom, there it is. Mamma mia again on Palantir. Beautiful bottom side there, right up to 23. Your boy's cashing it out, and that's just what it's going to be. And there goes Neo right back to the high side. Let's put some more dips down here, 37.60 or so. If we get that low in Neo, that may be worth a buy. But again, I am very, very nervous. And, someone said, Sean, you were trading the Qs before. What happened to that? Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be trading the Qs because when the NASDAQ was only up 0.6, remember it was 850? And I was like, yo, throw Arun over because I want to talk to Arun. And we talked about the NASDAQ, and I was like, this thing is going to pop and pop off. And that's exactly what it did. We should have traded the Qs. And here is the NASDAQ, the NQs. We'll be doing that next time. Next time I get those like spidey feelings about the market, we're going to trade that because 316 up to 319, that's another $3 move. Very, very similar to what we're loving right now in the market as we go hella long. Take some more Palantir off right there, 23 even. And I said, man, here's the sticky note. Join us every day. Follow me on Twitter. Will it resist 23? It looks like it's doing it, man. We teach and we preach and then we act on what we do, guys. That's Trader TV Live. Hope you're liking it.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually a bit of a muted breakout, I should say, on Tesla. It took some about flack because it want to go right away 655, and I'm going to take a couple of bucks on the rest of this trade here. I thought we'd get a dip buy. I've had like several longs in Tesla. The best dip, of course, was that 45 zone. I'm gonna basically look now for dip trades. I just feel like if the best long was this consolidation at 45, then I'm going to look back in front of this 650, that 649 in VWAP to be the next best trade. What I'm going to end up holding on to is going to be that Snapchat breakout. Now it's finally through that 50. It's 51 definitively. We're cracking to 51.50. So this one almost $1.50 in the money. And again, this was on our watch list. We talked about some of these names in depth. We threw a few out there that were not on the watch list. Marvel and AMAD as well, which are both running to the upside. Of course, BlackBerry wasn't on the watch list, and I don't know. I mean, we could have thrown it on there, but I don't know that it would have been a shocker to anybody. It's still trying to break this low. There is still some time for it to maybe bounce back up, and I'm not going to wait for 860. I'll probably short in the low 50s at VWAP, and then continue to short every pop into VWAP as long as it wants to continue this trend. It's been a very, very nice one. I really can't complain about it too much, guys. But BlackBerry's been good. I want to show you guys AMAT just because we talked about it very, very briefly, but very similar setups for any of these NASDAQ names or any of these tech names. It gave you these dips into the pre-market lows after an initial breakout. So if you got some of those off of these fantastic levels, you want to hang on to them. That's why I'm hanging on to Snapchat. Can be a little more active in Tesla because I feel like the only mistake was not being aggressive enough in taking profits and then buying those consolidation dips.
Yeah, we didn't get aggressive enough, I guess, on the downside here of NEO either, because there's another beautiful out right there. So, yeah, we'll go with a bang. Great little trade there on NEO as that's trying to go. Hey, what the? Oh, that PSFE is blocked in our system.
I want it.
Damn it. I should be in the. I was gonna hit the bang right now because I punched long 25 and I'm just noticing now that it says rejected. This symbol for this is blocked. So PSFE. Let's paper trade it long 25s, guys, off that 14. So I would actually go long PSFE right now if your broker allows you to. It looks like it's going to break out. This is not. I mean, look, it's probably the newest position that I have according to new SPACs and new issues. So I am interested in this play, and I'm not just talking garbage here. I really think if you could break back above 1450 there, then we probably go to the upside, and then watch out for this 14 if you go back on BFT. That was a decent level today. And look, we talked about this yesterday, if you remember, that we were not unsure of what would happen on a symbol change. So today it's getting sold off a little bit. Not a worry for me. I'm a buyer at these levels, Brendo.
When we were talking about last week, guys, off of earnings, RH back to the upside here again. Remember earnings, I think it was this day, better than expected. Back to all-time highs. Volume a little bit light today, but RH, all-time highs, guys.
So just making sure we get to that ticket so we can actually trade that PFC, that pay safe for you there, Sean. I did get more shares of Arcadia there, so multitasking over here because we got to make sure we get that. I talked about shorting into some strength. It didn't quite get to 310, but I picked some up at 3 even again. I'm going to continue to short this name as long as I do get that chance. Coming back over to, and not necessarily to BlackBerry, but I want to get back over to Tesla if I can, because I'm going to be actively trading this name. Now, again, I took some out on the turn because I was anticipating that the dip buys might be better. So we're making a bit of a plunge down. I like this 650 area. I'm going to try to pick some of those up. We are still screaming to the upside in the overall market. And I think that's the one thing to keep in mind. XPEV is the third EVU name that we've been talking about here. It's still showing tons of relative strength, and it's a very similar setup. I think it's a little bit better to buy on these dips in like a 3470. I'm preferring Tesla today, but I don't think you can necessarily go wrong with the charts that I'm seeing here. XPEV, Tesla, it doesn't really matter in the day trade. So do whichever one is most comfortable to you. BlackBerry still no bounce, but now 835 has been a bit of a double bottom. If I didn't have a position, I'd be considering adding in. But I just feel like I'm going to short every single pop and try to do it aggressively, but I want 850s. It just got to like 845, so just shy of my target entry on that particular name.
Okay, yeah, here's Apple. We've already cashed out of that. You can see 122.90. So you're seeing Apple gone, not on the board anymore. Again, we take that 123 break and we get out. So we don't have to worry about this movement to the downside here. We tried to get more. I'm waiting in the 60s on NEO. That's not coming in right now. And then look, if you guys want to follow us, I'm on Instagram, so you guys can follow there. We have a cool picture here. I just want to show it. This is our amazing IT team right now. Not IT team, production team, sorry. They work on everything, IT, everything. Thank you to Lucas and Rob with their snazzy little shirts there, guys. There it is. What's up, Rob? If you guys want to guess who the character is between those two, you can take a guess right now. But follow me on Instagram. Also some cool things. The new chicken dinner winner animation on there. And then this was me and my main man. When was this? This was 3 weeks ago when we were just on our family walk and we saw this. And don't tell anybody who did that. It may or may not have been me. It was not me. What's up, Brendan?
Rob gets very, very excited every time he gets to go on TV. So you just made his day, Sean, once again. Airlines, guys. Delta downside today, 1.2%. UAL, AAL, we saw this group leading yesterday among the industrial sectors. So some of the airlines showing some weakness today, guys.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not a huge fan of the airlines. To be perfectly honest with you, I sort of said that before. Look, recovery plays fine. Go ahead, go for it there. I wrote something down, and I think Chewy is looking like it's going to make its bottom, but I threw down there a word that I never used on my prep, and it was build, and it was at 84.85. So if 87 breaks, build at 84.85. It's just a little shorthand to remind me there. Of course, I switch gears in Tesla, and this is what happens. Now we're breaking through highs once again. So look, I just talked about like wanted to buy a bit of a dip. It didn't even dip. It just goes to like 654. So the opposite of what it did in the previous breakouts. Either way, the market's still screaming to that upside. It is what it is, guys. You're going to miss out on some of these opportunities. Tesla long, 2 days in a row, sort of an obvious one. Someone asked on the chat, and I want to make sure I get to it just for a brief second here, talking about Virgin Galactic. Yes, it's up 4%. They new plane. They have some catalysts that have come through with some recent announcements. And this is what it's done. Now, my entries have only ever been at 27.50. To me, you're taking profit on the short term. If you get these dips and you have a chance to get that 32 to 34, you take some out because it's a good look here. And if it does retrace even further, try to get yourself a better price. It's a long-term play. They even putting anyone's space in 2022. I think tourism is going to make it at some point. But if you can get those quick little gains, go ahead and do that. The 27.50 double up is not going to come anytime soon like it did for you last year.
Just watching these names keep going, and I want to take more NEO out, but really, I'm looking at this level, and I just think that we can get there. So 37. I mean, I don't even have any offers out. I just have bids out for downside here, and I should have picked some more up. I went to the 60s when we were down here in the 80s. Got a little greedy on that, and then here it is again, man. You know what? Maybe we just got to take some out on NIO here. At this level, we're 60 cents now in the money. Let's let's offer some 12s here, just like we've been doing. Let's see if we get hit. Get hit. Did I get hit there? No, I did not. Let's see if 12s happen. There. Oh. Nope. Oh, we just got missed on 12. That's okay. There it is. There's our 12. So a nice little win there again. Someone messaged me yesterday and they said their favorite one, Rob, was this one. The hot dog cannon flying out and then, hitting me in the face there. So there you go, guys. If there's not a better team player, I think I'm one of them right there, taking the sausage to the face. Normally that's Rob, but I'll take it right now live on the show. BlackBerry right here, guys, still continuing to go to the downside. We did get that fill at 38. We were just one and done. Welcome to the Wild Show, guys. I'll be here every day except Friday. I like making these guys laugh, Lucas and Rob, the best in the team there. So thank you for the cannon, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, let's definitely go here. I'm a little shocked here. Tencent music. What the heck are you doing? just bounced a buck off the bottom. I didn't have that 2040 as any kind of a level here. Rounding off, and look, if this thing wants to make another run at 22, this time I am going to short it. It is what it is. I can't say it and then not do it because a couple times we've called out that level and then done nothing with it when it doesn't break. If this comes up, I'm shorting this for sure. I'm gonna have to check back in. We should be able to get the trades over in PaySafe pretty soon there, Sean. So make sure you check back out on that pretty quickly. Snapchat continues to run. I didn't have an upward target on it before, but I cannot continue to look a gift horse in the mouth. Here is the level from last week. This earlier in the week, 52.50. You did have some chop in last week at that same price. So if we break 52 and can't get to that 50 zone, I'm going to see if I can't get it out. We had the break, we had the dip buy. We've already taken some profit here, rolling with house money. But the market is slowing down a little bit. The NASDAQ halting a little bit at 1.5% to the upside. I do not want to throw away this profit. If I can get that 2 to 250, I'll take it for sure. And if it rolls over off a massive order at 52 even, that's the other way to do it. Of course, thank you so much for not flittering there. Of course, if there's a massive seller at 52, which there isn't now, I would take profit as well in front of that even dollar range.
Okay, just looking here, making sure that we got the right fills on all these stocks. NEO, so we did take some out there. We said we could get in the 30s. Really happy with that one. Next stop, if we can retest this level, man, let the party begin because we're going to be nicely done on NEO, the biggest stock right now today, going NEO. Big trade there. Afria continues to make moves to the high side, but not super exciting anymore. We've cleaned it out. We only have back that 10%, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and one of these must have been a double up. So we only have 10% left of this Afria trade. So we like it. Check back in on Apple. Still not doing anything. Our best out there was the 23 level, but we did take out a 122.90. That was nice. And okay, Neo, I see you. You want me to take some out, so let's do that. Up to 38.33, like long and out, average in, and then bang, 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 bang to the upside. And again, if you like a stock, you got to stick with it, and you got to just continue the love with these names. So Neo, I was panicking. You guys saw that. There was no doubt about that. When we were tanking and the market was Rip City, I was like, what's going on? But Neo does give us that move back. Oh, come on, Neo. I miss it by 3 cents again. So maybe get out a little bit here in the mid 30s. Let's not get super greedy. But hey, greed isn't necessarily a bad thing. We need to get greedy a little bit. And if we weren't greedy, then we wouldn't have opportunities like we do, hopefully, on Chewy. Trying to break this 89.50, man. If that can happen, that would be great. Mr. Haircut, as he's known on the chat. Brendan, a lot of people want to know about your barber. So when they're in Toronto and when we're able to reopen, I'm sure you're going to have some hot picks for a barber. Brendan at the big screen.
It's been a month, I think. Last haircut I got. Let's talk small caps, guys. That'll be my secret. How about that? PRPH here. This was as weak as they get. It did give you a really nice opportunity to reload into $8 there, but I was away doing other things. But $6.50 now for PRPH, falling on its face. The one that was up significantly. Another one we mentioned, TAOP. What a reversal this was. I did get stopped out of this a couple times. I actually tried the long here because of a big buyer that stepped up. But once you see the sellers coming in, it's pretty obvious back below that 13 level on TAOP. We're approaching $10 now on that one, so a huge reversal. That was the NFT name today. Yeah, this Arcadia Biosciences is putting me to sleep. This volume is dying off very quickly. It's trying to break this 290 right now. It's staying below 3, which is good if you're short, but needs some volume, I think, for Arcadia. Guys, back over to you.
Snapchat doesn't need any volume, guys. We're going to power it up for this one. I'm going to go old school. That's right. If you guys know that game, I know you guys love Mario, and I'm not a gamer, but back in the day, it was only Mario Kart that I was good at in that system. Snapchat 52s. If I'm gonna, and I just actually tweet this one out. If I'm going to use, and sometimes these quick little fail breaks at 52. If I have 52.50 is a bit of a level on the higher time frame, which is exactly what I was looking at here. I'm going to look at that 52 break and say if it snaps up. Nice pun. And then comes right back in. If I would have been shorting something like that in a bearish look, I'm going to use that for an out. So I do take it out at 52. I told you guys well in advance that that was the move I was looking for in Snapchat. We had both the breakout and the dip buy, so it was kind of two trades in one. The 55 break, which took right to 51 off that open. Dip buys on, we showed you AMAD and Snapchat was very, very, very similar. All these dips in the pre-market lows on some of these high-flying tech names, and a fantastic out I think we're going to have here. Do have to come back to this one. Why not Arcadia? We'll just continue to let this one roll, do some backflips over it. The consolidation at 3, like we said, I would have shorted it into 315. It never got there. Now it's testing that 290 low. I'll continue to dig at this one all morning long. The same way I really don't care how strong the market is. We're going to continue to be short BlackBerry. It's getting back to this VWAP level, so it's trying to crack this 850, which, you know what, why am I actually waiting at 850? If I have a chance to sell some 49s, I'm going to go ahead and do that, guys. We tried to short some pops. I liked it at VWAP. It cannot seem to go to that 50 to 53 mark, which would actually be VWAP, so if I have to pick it up at 49s, I'll go ahead and do that. The other name that we've been watching here, and as I finally get that fill in BlackBerry, is of course Tesla. I wanted to buy dips. You saw this breakout. Doesn't immediately go. I take some off. I then get the turn here for a couple of bucks, thinking we're about to test back down to 52, 53. That does not happen. So the trend continues. The only good thing is I haven't actually tried to short Tesla today. 666 is rapidly approaching, and just sort of trust me when I tell you guys, anyone that's followed these names knows that Tesla 420 and 666 for whatever reason have been levels. Speaking of that AMAT, still on some fresh highs, no chance to buy a dip if you want to hear, guys, but there's been winners abound. Doesn't really matter what you have well, it does matter what you have in the tech space, but I can show you a lot that's to the upside. Along the lines of, I'm going to let you guys think about something here. Along the lines of Virgin Galactic, I hold Lemonade, and I'll tell you candidly, very, very similar thing here. If you had the good fortune to be buying off of these dips in that mid-80 range, and then you double bottom here right off of 80, if it sniffs that 100, to that 105 mark, if it gets into here, taking profit just makes sense. 70 is a level I really, really like on this name, so it still has room to go to the downside, the same way the low 20s could happen on a Virgin Galactic. So you have to be willing on some of these zero revenue or ridiculous valuation type of names. Play the patience game. Take your profit where you can on these up days, especially if it's a multi-day rally that gives you the 105. I definitely like that look. I just got that BlackBerry, but watch out for this Arcadia. It is starting to chew back to the upside. That's a daily chart. Still chewing back to the upside. I didn't add in that 305 to 310 range. I'm now willing to do so. Took some off in that 290. I want to add back in that 305. I'm not waiting for VWAP the way I was on BlackBerry.
Hey now, Chewy is back in the building, and we take a little profit off that. Damn it. That bottom end, we would be through the moon if we didn't have to worry about that trade, but we do. Yeah, we've already booked that loss, but there it is, right back to the upside. So hell yeah on that trade. So a good little trade there. We'll take that off for $2. That's a $2 winner right there on Chewy, guys. This is an 87.66. That's an out at 89.59. So that's a $2 winner right there, absorbing some of that hit, making that cash back for you on that name. But hopefully you guys aren't too bad there. I just went and I refilled up, and then I got the water. And then we also have, we'll do the fruit salad in a minute. Okay, getting some out here at 38.50 should have been done. I have an order there now. That's a good spot, man. You know I love to trade these 50 levels. So missed opportunity on me running to go get some water there, but that's okay. 38.60. I mean, I would have only got out another part of the trade, so it's not like it's a monster there. But as I look back, man, here goes Palantir, and I told you guys we'll hit the touchdown because we told you that Palantir was going to look at 23 today. It does stop at 23 before retracing back down just a little bit, and now we go to the upside. A big day for Palantir, man. My last buy, 21.83, and I ain't afraid to tell you all those positions. BlackBerry, guys, 8.38 downside, bang, hit that off right there. We'll check in on PaySafe. We still have some of this though, BlackBerry, as now it goes against us, but no worries on that one. We'll have to wait to see where that goes. And then there it goes. Did I just get those Neos? No, I did not. We were $1 plus in the money on NIO, and I do have an offer now at 51. Okay, yeah, let's put that a little sub 50 here. Maybe 46, 47, real no difference right now.
And talk about just ridiculous weakness. This bloody PRPH is just absolutely insane. This was definitely a sell. And we talked about this one a little bit on the weakness in the pre-market. I took it off in the pre-market at that 780 and never got back, sorry, at that 750 and never got back in. it's now dying at 660. So it is what it is, guys. It's one of the reasons why we try to cover as much as we can for you. This is the levels we like. These are stocks we think are strong or going to be weak. There was an opportunity into VWAP on this name, but I'm shorting BlackBerry, of course. I was shorting Arcadia as well. So might have missed the boat on PRPH. I think most of the move is probably going to be done on this one. Coming back to Tesla, the market is trying to round off again, so this might actually be the move back into VWAP that I was waiting for, as it just turned at 660. So no 666 yet. Still has room to get to that level, but let's see if it can't test back into 51, 52 and bounce off VWAP like we thought it was already going to do previously. We talked Snapchat, but a somewhat related name we didn't mention is Twitter. Watch out as Twitter has been rounding off VWAP this entire time. And if the market turns in here, look at this 64. Look at this 64.50. Sorry, I was just like getting an order through to break this like 64.50 for a quick little scalp trade, hopefully down to the 64.20. I just sort of see it like rounding, break downside. I have nothing short on any reversals for this market. I was only looking for a buy in the dip. I want to take a quick little trade here off of 50 in Twitter and see if I can't get out 25. Brendo?
We were talking about AMD. Some of the chip makers earlier, very, very strong. Look at NVIDIA here as well, coming into significant levels here on the daily chart, though. 230 to 231. A bit of a problem so far, but another one, guys. This semiconductor group, very strong so far.
Another one, yeah. We'll check AMD. The last buy I was in was 77 and change, so it's just right here. It's been a weak performer, to be honest with you here, AMD. We bought it down here. Or no, maybe it wasn't 77. I'll find out and get back to you. But we didn't sell any. I'm building this position for a longer term spot. So I do like AMD alongside. And obviously, my first ever, I remember hitting the keys with NVIDIA breaking through 100. And that was like, I was like, am I really going to buy this stock at $100? And it's come from like 20, 30. And now you see where NVIDIA is. This is like, it hasn't even split or anything. So that's like a 5-timer in just a couple years. So that's good. I mean, there's lots of stocks that do that. Tesla can go 5x in a couple months, as we know. Just checking back, like NEO, we did get that price out of NEO, so that was a great little price there. 43s, you saw me take that out live. We talked about getting it before 50. We didn't want to wait. Good out, it appears. And then Chewy, right now, let's go Chewy. I don't even know. I don't even have the guys on here. If you have the Chewy thing again, please hit it if you guys can find it. But right now, we'll wind down some money on it. As again, just being honest with you guys, I won't be up on Chewy here. But we've made money back. And I think that this was just unfortunate. A lot of people had that 87.50 look that I had there. So when 87.50 breaks, what happens is it triggers a downward move to 87 there, right? When we noticed that, we bought immediately back in. I wish I was on it and looking at it when this happened, because I would have gone longer there using this 87 as defense again. But that's just education, and we're just trying to give you guys those looks. Oh man, Chewy bounces off 90 again. You know what? I may just have to take $2.50 if that comes back to 90. Actually, yeah, let's do it here. Let's put an order around 89, I don't know, 89.90 or so. We'll put an order there, get out. I'm not going to hold it just for that extra little bit. My order is right now at 90.50, so let's sacrifice about 70 cents and make sure we get one more piece out here. This stock, as we know, can retest bottom. So let's not get too greedy. 89.80 or 90 or so will be my out now on Chewy for half of what we have left.
Yeah, and as BlackBerry continues to roll over, just going to throw some bids out here into the low 40s as it continues this downward trend that it can't seem to get out of its way. That Twitter, I mean, there wasn't actually a ton of momentum. You got to watch out because the NASDAQ is kind of technically still going to the upside. But it did make a break. It just got down to like 35s, halfway to that 25 mark. I wanted this to be a sort of a quick in and out type of idea. Just when I saw this rounding off, I said, okay, well, if it breaks, decent chance you can get back down into this little dip area. That 64.20, 64.25 is going to be the target. So I liked it on the chart. And I wasn't looking for any breakdown trades and wanted to have exposure to at least something along those lines. When I get back to Snapchat, if I can, of course, it's going to go right to that 62.50 area. We showed it on the daily chart here, guys. This is why we always go to that higher time frame in the analysis. Here's that top from a couple of days ago. There's that chop zone as well, 52.50. If we get into here and then start to base out, give you some sideways action in consolidation in Snapchat, it's going to give you a couple of plays. Either maybe a further breakout. Just keep in mind the top end of this range is 53 even. or we might actually have a bit of a retracement play. I know it's only 10:30. I like that setup a little bit better at 11 o'clock, but I don't have a problem shorting Snapchat if I get the look that I like off of those levels. I'm not going to do that over in Tesla. I'm not going to short 666. On the other hand, I'm still waiting for that dip to come in. The dip starting to go again on BlackBerry. So here's my 15-minute chart so you can see how badly it's been beaten up. I have orders all the way down because I still believe in $8, but I'll take some out in front of 840s. I have no problem with that, especially if I'm going to be shorting every single pop in this name.
Yeah, short the pops. Okay, Chewy. Yeah, see, like that was an opportunity missed. Oh, I had Viacom up. So yeah, let's talk about Viacom a little bit here. I cannot believe it went down to 44 again and I missed it. But there it is, 44, 24, 25. Let's get some bids in here. If that does happen again, we know where we like Viacom, all the way down to 43. So let's wait to see. I mean, here's the dip down we've talked about this story. You guys know it over and over again. So let's just watch the names: TME, VIPS, Discovery, Viacom, all in the same boat and still working itself out on the downside. So like if you're a holder of these stocks, I think we're bottoming out, but we'll see. So we're going to test that theory in the 44 range. Not now. It's too bouncy right here. Can we get back up to 46, 47 for sure? You know what? Maybe this is a breaking spot here. 45.40 maybe on Viacom. We'll do a little bit more work here, but that looks like a decent spot actually. So yeah, you know what? What is this? 45.30. Let's take a little bit of a long here through 45.30, guys, on Via C, and then use like this 44.90 or so as an out. So let's see if we can risk about 40 or 50 cents here on Via C.
Absolutely, and look, it's been an active day, and like we talked about the overall market, the broad market, what it's doing. I do want to come back to I feel like one theme that we haven't talked about, because I think the airlines got thrown in there under some weakness. You look at some of the reopened plays and the meme stocks going to the downside. I mean, BlackBerry's down. The same chart is AMC, the same chart, right? So getting beaten up on both levels, right? So as tech goes to the upside, you are seeing some overall weakness. Just looking at 10 even on AMC, 10.05 is the current low, guys. But you go to this higher time frame, you have had some bottom at 10 even, which has been pretty solid on AMC. So I'm watching this 10 even now as a lot of weakness here as well. I do believe was I hear Brennan in the air?
Indeed, yes. A little one here, BGCP, just popping up here, guys. 6% on the day, but just broke 480 there on a big volume spike. CEO updated their current quarter forecast to the upside today. So this one's in the finance sector, little fintech, BGCP. Yeah, we're late on Europe as well today. Miss V standing by. Tell them what is going on over in Europe, V.
Hey, Brandon, European markets are mostly in the negative territory, with Eurozone inflation jumped to 1.3% from 0.9% in February. Lloyds Bank is almost flat after it posted a $1.2 billion pre-tax loss for 2020. Back to you.
Yeah, still 172-ish on the 10-year here, guys, as far as the inflation goes for the U.S. So that's, remember, down significantly from the 177 we saw yesterday.
Yeah, this is just the new range, man. I think that's one of the reasons why it doesn't matter above that 1.6. If like the 1.6 to the 1.75 is the new range, it is what it is. Yeah, I see that WAFU, guys. Wow. Yeah, wow is the right term to use for this. It's continuing to run. Look, we've traded this one in the past, so I just want to let you guys just go to higher time frame here. If it actually gets anywhere shy of this, like 15.50 to 16 even for rollover short, you tend to know that's the way I play these. Or we get some halts. Somehow, there was a halt I looked right after the open on some strength here. Way too strong for me to touch that, by the way. But if it does halt shy of that 16 even, I like the reopen using that high from the daily chart as an out until it gets there. No standing in front of a moving train, guys. That's exactly how you get bowled over. The stock was a roller coaster ride the last time I traded it. Patience is usually the virtue in the way that these will work out for you if you're trying to play the short side of the trade. If you got the long, you never go wrong taking profits on a name like this, especially look if you got 12 long break or like this 13 long break where you have it from the reopen. I mean, it doesn't hurt to take some off. It is approaching that high from the daily chart at 16. So if it was me, that's what I would be doing. Otherwise, I'm looking for that halt. And that's the way I'm going to get in.
Looking at Chewy, trying to add to it right here at 88. So it just made that move down, a pretty violent one from 89.70 back down to 88. So we're going to wait to see. I just should have got a little more aggressive. Where am I bidding anyways? 88.10? Oh, right here. Okay. So 88.10. So We're just bidding there. We'll hopefully get filled. If not, we may just pay the piper a little bit and take the long off the spread. But you could see the spread here. And when it starts to, there we go. See, like, that's how easy you get filled. Like there, like where we go. We just took 10s right down to 83. So you have to be a little bit, risk tolerant to trade this name today, Chewy. And we've been doing that. We have this 87 bottom. So I will average into this one. We'll turn this one into a loser if we have to. And we don't want that to happen. But if Chewy does go back downside, we will average in more. Wow, that just went to 87.50. Oh no, that was before. I was gonna say, wow, okay. So 87.50 just touched down again. There's a nice little long, 88.10. We took that against ourselves, 50 cents, and now it's in the money, 50 cents. So there it is, a nice little win for us there on Chewy. It's just a matter of when do we want to take this thing out, guys.
Exactly, and this is the time of day where you're rounding into some of these either retracement plays. I'm looking at squarely at Neo right here, bouncing up the open. Bit of a reversal. Now, obviously, you had that sell-off at the open, couldn't get through 39. But I look at Tesla on that strength. I say Neo bouncing off 38 here. I'm gonna play my hand for the first time at this. I trade XPEV successfully. Tesla, I think. Look, it was okay, but should have done so much better on Tesla. It was very interesting the way that sort of rounded back in on that little dip buy. But I like this in front of this like 38 even area and see if I can't dig into Neo and play this range from 38 to 38.50 if at all possible. The other name that we've been tracking here, and I want to go back to small cap land for you, with Arcadia. This one, once again, and I feel like this could be the name that, as it rounds to the downside here, I might just hang on to this. To give you a higher time frame, guys. This level right here, like a 275, post-market, this was earnings. You look at the dip buys in post-market, that if they try to fill in the gap, those are target areas for outs for me. So I have one in front of this 85. After that breaks, I'm looking at that 270 to 275 range on the downside. And then again, just shorting into like 305, 310, letting you guys know in advance, like before it gets to the price level, like where am I looking to get out? Before it pounces to the upside, where would I be looking to add to a position, right? That's going to be the idea and nature of the game. That's what we talked about, that 350. Had my stop at 335. Said I want to get back in if it tests the high of the day. Not want to test the first time. Want to test the second time and fails. We got into it, and then you have that little bit of a flush. So it's more about the mentality of what we're trying to do here. The trades are excellent, of course. We're having a lot of fun talking to you guys here with the market. Now making that secondary push through like 13-1 on the NASDAQ, guys. So gear up for some of those longs. I got to get some Neo. Brendo?
This EEIQ just popping back up here. But yeah, back towards day highs, I guess. 1480, volume coming back in, you can see for this EEIQ, one of those Chinese education companies, guys.
All right, I see some love for Square on the chat. Come on, Chewy goes up. We didn't take it out. I don't care. I'm waiting for this level. We talked about where the Chewy stop is and what we're thinking about on that stock. So we're going to wait for that. Square. Look, this was one that I know where my last buy was because I was talking about it as it was going against me. 212 we bought Square last, so now that's 10% in the money on that last buy, and we're only up 8% today. So you could have had those bids yesterday on Square, man. 212. There was no news when we asked Brendan about this one, so it continues to march higher, man. Bitcoin's not moving, and Square is. So someone's saying, like, where is the turn on this name? Maybe at the 50 period, which is 235. So we still have a long way to go on SQ. So this name just breaks out right from here. And if I would have noticed this in the pre-market, that's basically the levels that we're talking about. This is why my buy is at 212, because we have these bottoms here. I mean, sure, it went down to 200, but you got to be willing to absorb that. Now there's the break on Square to the upside. So I don't really, honestly, guys, I don't see a spot for this thing to turn. We can go into a 20-period moving average, 20-period chart. We've already taken this 229 out, it's just mucho upside. PSFE checking. Oh, damn, this stock was blocked. We tried to go long at 14.25. We talked about that, basing out down here as well. Formerly BFT. This stock's a triple in a couple months, guys. Watch out. Brendo.
Sean, thanks for reminding me. There is an IPO today. It's not terribly huge, about 550 million or so. Coursera coming to the NYSE, COUR, with a $4 billion valuation. You can see this is actually a great website. I don't know if you guys have used it, but lots of fantastic courses on there that you can learn pretty much anything. So COUR, the ticker NYSE, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome, Brendo. There, we can't get everything, and I got to give a big shout out to Gregory, the floor manager here, managing I think enough traders that he can count on one hand. But thank you for that update there, Greg, and we will watch out for Coursera. I don't know anything about it, but my kids just recently signed up. I'll find out the website. There's a Canadian one similar to that with all the courses. They just signed up for March break, which of course is happening in April in Ontario, and the kids may not go back to school after
When they
that.
lock us down.
That's the rumor that I'm hearing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll lock us down here in Ontario, guys. My wife actually has used Coursera, so it's actually a pretty good service and an interesting one as well. I want to come back, if I can, to one cannabis name. That's going to be that CGC. Of course, still stuck. I was just looking at Discovery, and my chart didn't want to flip from it here. But CGC, look at this consolidation off of the top. I do like rollovers in this setup. I'm pretty much always going to. So I'm going to look at this 33 to the downside and see if we can't get a quick little VWAP retracement. I was also watching Discovery, guys. It's on the move. But it is now time for Sector Watch. So let's get you guys to Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, 1040. Let's get a look at the S&P 500. See what is leading the way so far. You can see, I mean, these two groups really making up the entire move for the overall market. We are still positive, about 0.6% on the day, but a lot of things offsetting, you can see on this side of the things today. Real estate stocks, these material stocks as well, have been strong over the past week or so, all seeing a bit of a pullback so far today. Energy in the bottom corner there as well. Oil with a bit of a pullback today. The banks were leading yesterday at this time, not so much today. Again, all of them getting a bit of a pullback so far. The industrial group, we were talking about the airlines. I don't even see them on here now, but oh, there they are here. DAL, Love, FedEx is here, Alaskan as well, UAL was there as well. The cruise lines here in the consumer discretionary group. Only CCL just popping up there. Look at Etsy though. Etsy and eBay both having quite the session. Penn National, 1.5%. Popping up there as well. Here's Tesla, 3.4%, PVH and RL, the other two there, 2.5% to the upside. It's all about the tech stocks, really. We saw at 10 o'clock, 1.5% for the NASDAQ when everything else was pretty much not doing a lot. So hardware equipment makers led by the big one, Apple there, 2.5% now to the upside. Keys is here, TRMB, TEL as well. The software group, pretty much the entire thing. There are a few here that are negative, including IBM to the downside. That doesn't happen. PAYC, CDNS, and now all 3.5%. Industrials, as we mentioned, a little bit lower. Healthcare stocks as well, having a mixed session. But thanks to a bounce back in tech stocks, the market up about 0.5%. Guys, back over to you.
Thank you, Brendo. Okay, so yeah, we will go. Who's got NEO and who's crushing it? This is the biggest stock today on the show. NEO, $1 now, 10 cents in the money. So yeah, we'll continue to go high. We're light on it, man. We should have bought back down at this view up. We kept talking about it. I was waiting for larger dips, but 38 right now. Let's get this out, man. I mean, if this goes to 39, that's fantastic. 38.80 on NEO is good enough for me. We will take that smooth. I mean, it's $1.10 right now in the money. So let's just get out as we normally do around the 70 mark. You know what? This is still going to fly. Let's just cancel this one. We'll wait on NEO. I think it still has a more higher side potential. And then 40 cents in the money right now on Palantir as it's trying to take this level. So I'm going to go long, man. We're going to put on some real shares if we go through here. And again, you know, no problem. We'll see about it. It's bounced off this 23.20. We talked about it there. You could, you could join me on the sheet of love, the sticky note here. We'll get rid of it. You guys can follow. We put it up on Instagram, or not on Instagram, on Twitter. I'll put my handles on the board for you guys. Okay, Chewy, did it just break? Yeah, see, it broke again. Did it break 80? Yeah, it did break 87 there. So it breaks 87. We get out. So Chewy going to be a loser for us today. We're holding a little bit on it. We tried to build into another position into 87, and look what happens again. It cracks 87, and there it is. I make the bottom wick as now it goes up another $1. So hey, we would be even bigger today if we had just not gotten out where we said we wanted to get out. So no problem, just bad technical analysis there. Chewy basically goes down to the very bottom and tests people's patience. So we still have it, but that will be a loser for us today. Look, I have one losing stock today, and it's Chewy. So that is what it is. I'm long, hella long in my own account from IPO price. Not that that matters. Today it's going to be a losing stock and the only one on the board. So we're cooking up profits. But right now, Chewy's cooking us a little bit here as we'll hold on to one last piece. And I do like that Palantir break right through 23.20, guys.
Yeah, quick new position alert. Got that 33 break on CGC when it came back to the downside, but Apple very, very close to making a fresh high, guys.
Oh, yeah.
123.25. Getting ahead of myself. 130. We'll get there. But 123.25. Double top so far in Apple. I don't mind the reversal play in CGC, as I mentioned. There is just showing some weakness coming back in, but not necessarily going to be doing that in Apple as long as we're holding these levels. We're holding above the previous high, 39.70 on the ES and the NASDAQ as well, holding on to that 13.10 top. So watch for the 123.25 breakout on Apple. I basically was telling you guys I wanted that Neo, and again, we'll do this where we're talking about the positions and it bounced off VWAP, and I'm like, okay, let's get some long in front of this VWAP. It broke out without me, so I'll buy again on a dip if it comes down and maybe pick some up in the 20s instead of trying to wait for the teens. And the difference is I'll actually go ahead and just fire an order in front of it. So if it comes down, I'll actually get picked up on the way. Sometimes that's the better and only way to get in. Showed you Apple at the highs. I also want to show you there are some rollovers happening. I mean, I talked about the wheat space, I took that CGC, but AMAT already starting to pull back as well. So you had this break off of the open to 131.40, just below VWAP. That's the level you want to see it hold. If it can hold that 131.40, maybe make a secondary run to the top as long as this market can stay strong. So we talked about the overall strength in tech and the chip space. Threw some names out there in the morning for you guys. AMAT was one of them, so I want to make sure I gave that update.
Okay, yeah, here's, you guys are asking about it. Here is so we just put in the chat, someone asked V to do it. I just did it there. 60 likes today. This is the sticky note today. There's that Chewy 87.50 level. I mean, it's been a great level if you've waited for that level. And then you wouldn't have had to punch out at 87, but wait for that. And thank you to Brendan there for the day's high on Apple. You could see where we were long. We were initially long 122, but there's that 122.50 that we liked. We did like a Snapchat through 48, and Palantir 23. Well, you see where it is now. We're long through 23.20, and our best trade on that too. Look at Neo 37.50. Where was the 38 long, right? And so you check out Neo there. We just talked about 38 long. Well, you only went up to 38.80, 38.70 there off that call. So that was good. And then, by the way, oh yeah, you know what? Let's call that Twitter back up for a second here, if I could find it, or did I just minimize it too much? Yeah. Oh, there it is. Neo 37.50 support. You see this here, guys? Look what it happens right now. Look at the support I'm talking about. This is where we put our money where our mouth is, man. And we take that 37. This was the largest trade, and this is why Neo's the #1 P&L stock on the board today for the show, guys. But it's a big one. There's the nice level. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll load up a little bit more. I was cautious about that trade because of $37. That was a big level. We wanted to get more downside, but there's a big trade alert, man. And we're still holding on to a little last piece of it. We'll wait to see. Palantir through 23. This is that long, 22.75. Again, it's on the board, 22.75, out 23. Then we finally get long again. We just took some out quarters, but I do have higher hopes, obviously, for Palantir now that I'm confident it held 23. I'm going to get out if it breaks through 23, but let's wait to see if we can get some more upside love right here. Let's go.
Yeah, and here comes that CGC. It broke that 33. Now, obviously, you get the 33.05. I chased it a little bit down here to get 96s. I only like it into VWAP. I mean, I'll hang on to a little bit just in case it can break back down to this 32, 65 high low that it put in. But look, it's all about the fact that, like I showed you, some stocks have already started to pull in despite the fact that the market has yet to do so. One name that hasn't pulled back in just yet is if we get another target there, we'll go with, I don't know, I haven't used Mortal Kombat in a while. I feel like I'm in a bit of a gaming mood. So a bit of a perfect timing on the rollover. I actually wish that I had some kind of an inclination of a bearish look or a turnaround on AMAT, because here's that little dip. Didn't quite get to that 134.40, but if it can get there again, look, it dipped down here one little wick to 131.55. And as I look at it, always pull up a level 2, guys. and make sure that it actually switches for you here. But always pull up a level 2 to look at the spread. So like 5-10 cent spreads on AMAT. So when you say a 130, 140, if you want that long as it dips down, you probably got to throw in like a 55 or 60 if you want to pick it up on the downside. I actually made the mistake of only looking at the chart there and not paying attention to where you'd need to get into AMAT on that dip. So I'll look at like maybe like the 60s instead if it comes back down here.
Alrighty then. Oh, there's Palantir 24s. We're not worried about that. BlackBerry's still cruising around, not doing much. Let's check in on GE. I mean, we've cashed out of BlackBerry. We still are holding some. GE on the way down. No surprise there as the NASDAQ, money rotating out of some of these names. So I actually expect Ford to probably be down as well. And yeah, Ford down huge today. So yeah, money rotating out, as we talked about, that would happen on these NASDAQ names, rotating out of the industrials back into NASDAQ. And again, guys, I called this 1.2%. We talked about this at 0.6 that we like the long. Now you're at 1.9. So I guess we're welcome for that as well. But I didn't trade the futures as I should have. I'm sure Rune's on that one. Brendan at the big screen. Let's talk some money and some crypto.
Yeah, currency time, guys. Let's have a look at what is happening so far in the world of currencies. I threw the Canadian dollar up here today because, this is a big bounce. We've had about a week or so to the downside. That's a daily chart, but you can see 0.6% back to the upside today, creeping back up towards the 80-cent level versus the U.S. dollar. Bank of Canada talking very positively on our economy on this side of the border for the remainder of this year, expecting some growth to come back in. Euro, 0.3%. British pound also having a nice day, 0.5%, 138 again. For the pound, Japanese yen, Swiss franc, not really doing much of anything. Australia, New Zealand also higher. Turkish lira downside again today. You can see back to 825, a full percent to the downside for the Turkish lira. Speaking of not doing much, crypto is pretty much flat so far. Ripple with a 3% pullback, but Bitcoin actually dead flat so far. Guys, back over to you.
So I know some of you guys are watching Discovery B making all kinds of halt trades, but I just pulled up A series shares here, guys, at 43.50 holding up. So there is some activity over here, but I got to figure out what's going on over in the other issue. It's just crazy price action with constant halts. I did get a new position we talked about waiting around for NEO this time. It's a little bit more aggressive. I was waiting in the teens, trying to get those teens before in front of VWAP. This time I actually park it in front of that 20 and get 22s. Look, if it comes into the chop zone in front of 38.50, I'll definitely take some profit on the way up. But I wanted to buy this dip, make sure I got some exposure to it. CGC is still, it's still actually looking okay, of course. Used to be NASDAQ. I always get tripped up by that one. I wanted to make sure I held on to some shares. Normally, I'd get out in front of VWAP if I had to short at like the 10s. But I want to give it a little bit more room to retest down to this like 32.60. If I can end up with, a quick little 30-cent scalp. This was always going to be a scalp trade on the breakdown. It is an upward trending stock, but I looked at that pullback and said to myself, with the market reaching those highs, the marijuana names, just where I happened to pick up, and I like that chart. I wish it had been AMAT, but I had a very, very bullish tint on that stock today, so I never really considered that little rebound trade. Either way, you got to be willing to play in both directions. I have not talked about Tesla in a while, so I want to come back to this because we're getting rather close to that. It's not a magic number, but that 666 that we talked about. It has been a level previously on Tesla, and as we get very, very close to it, we could have that little. We're either going to get a really good dip buy opportunity, maybe all the way back into a pullback at 650, or you're going to look for a breakout. I wouldn't touch 665 with a 10-foot pole. It's 666, guys. And the last time it tried to test this level, look, it broke down off, and this is the 24th, it broke down hard, tried to test 666, and then literally died, and it gave you those 590 bottoms that we're rallying off of here. So watch out, a couple of dollars away from a massive level here on Tesla.
Okay, just looking at some of these trades, like Palantir, like wakey, eggs and bakey, man. Like you got to wake up a little bit here. It's got to go through this 25. We've taken some out. I still have basically this whole position. It's, just scalped out 20% because we still had some long from down here. So now you're seeing the average this as my only position, 23.20. You know we've been long from here, so that's why you see at the bottom. And if you're looking at the bottom, it's not going to show our P&L. It's like how many pennies we've taken out of the stock. So that's why right now it's a little misleading, because every time I take out partials, it counts as if, oh, that's another 10-cent win. But it's not really. Okay, Square here. We'll look at this. Someone said, where is it going to turn? I mean, did I say 232? No, we had no idea where this thing was going to turn, but it does turn at 232, and now it's starting to head back to the downside here. So I would think that this move, we were up 9% really, and we were kind of wondering what was up with that. So we will wait. Come on, Chewy, like as if now you do this. Oh, Chewy, break the bottom again, man. I'm gonna have to be coming back with a vengeance on this stock. I remember the last earnings report, I lost on it as well. And so no surprise here that we're losing, and I'm randomly pointing, but it's actually at Valeria. What's up, Valeria?
Oh, shoot.
Hey, Sean, chat talks about Discovery. Stock is up around 93%. Back to you.
Up, 93%. Discovery B today. So I have no idea why. That's why I've sort of stayed away from it. It was thin. Oh, now it's halted. Okay, so now it's halted to the upside. And I apologize if Brendan's been going over this, man, but like...
No, guys, I just talked about this one, and the key thing to keep in mind here is Discovery A is up 1%. It is barely moving. And Brent, thank you for pointing out one of our members here in the chat as well. Discovery B is on 170,000 shares. There's no liquidity. So what's happening is you get anybody that gets caught up in position that might be too big, and it's just, as those get liquidated, as it halts, it reopens. There isn't actually something fundamental that I can see going on. And just go to the other issue to be able to tell that it's not that's the case. You guys will remember when we had that disparity between U1 and U1K when one was running and the other was going. There was opportunities there because they were both liquid and both doing volume. In this case, there just isn't any volume in Discovery B. So I wouldn't want anyone trying to find, trying to think there's going to be these massive opportunities because they see those swings. I don't think that's going to be true. Lack of liquidity and just a couple of people probably getting caught. I talked about that little scalp buy on NEO. Doesn't quite get to the top end of the range. We pick up those 22s. We're able to take a 10-cent win, then a 20-cent win. I wanted to hold the rest for the top end of the range and hopefully rinse and repeat. If it's going to be this shallow of a turnaround, I don't love the reload, especially when, where's my NASDAQ? Yeah, we're topping out here in the NASDAQ and trying to make a bit of a turn. We head back below 1310. I'm not loading back into NEO, not when I wanted this to be a quick duration trade. I would think that, and not to say that it's going to follow the NASDAQ in particular, but I would think that if there is a further rollover in the market, I'll get my next target. It's my 15-minute chart, by the way, on CGC. I'll get that next little target to the downside, that 32.6, and maybe start playing the short side of that trade off of those previous highs, right around that 33 even a couple of sessions ago. So bit of a break. Sort of talked about that 33 earlier in the session, in the pre-market. It goes up, we come back down below, we short when it breaks that 33, and then if I can't rinse and repeat, it might be a one and done short trade for me on CGC. But pick your spots at this time of day, guys. That's certainly the way to go. BlackBerry, just to recap the names, I don't know if there was a probably the only stock that we talked about that wasn't a small cap to be short this name. Shorting some pops, still working out, but it's still at that 850. Can't seem to break. I've shorted at 55s, I've shorted at 60s, I've shorted at 65s on BlackBerry in particular, but now you're starting to consolidate. I don't want this to break out on me. If it breaks 860, like this 860 and change, if it breaks that out, I'm going to get out with the anticipation that if it even makes any kind of a move into the 75 to 80 area, I'm just going to load back in front of that high of the day. So I'm kind of trading it very similar to how I'd look at some of those like gap up retracement plays on small caps. When I have a short bias, I'm going to put that same playbook into effect. And if it wants to base out and break upside, I'm not going to throw away the money made in the morning. I'm going to look for a better entry, but I only like to short.
Yeah, we're still on that NEO trade as well, but yeah, we got to wait for it. And you guys want to hit some Weed Batman action there as Afria does make another move up to 19. Our best out 1907. We should have. Would have, could have. Normally I'm out at the quarters there, so that could have been a play, but it was ripping at that time. So we're right now 40 cents in the money on this name. Okay, our dream stock, Palantir. Starting to not be a dream as it's coming back down. We took a very, very small piece there, but this is a real one now at 23.09. So, okay, this is basically the double position. So we went at 23.20 there, and now we're at 23.09. That's why you're seeing the average price at 16. So this was the double spot there on Palantir. So, you know, I don't know if this is going to work. We'll see, but we're going to give this back to like this 22.95-ish area. I mean, we could even get even lower. Maybe I'll take a little bit of more of a risk on this one. But Palantir, it ripped up early. We talked about it holding 23. Now let's see if it does. And if it does, great. But if it doesn't, man, we got to get out. Yeah, let's go long. Let's go a little bit. Let me cancel this stop order. We're going to go to 23.90 down here, basically where VWAP is for the stop. So I'm going to cancel that and put a new one in here for that trade. And yeah, that Discovery B, guys, I mean, that's just one of those trades where you got to really be ready for anything to happen, because Viacom is also moving, but not even nearly as much. I had a breakout trade ready to rock and roll on Viacom, and that didn't happen right here at 45.30. Thought that, you know, testing this VWAP and then kind of breaking it. We didn't get long. We were waiting for a bigger break than this. So 45.30 on a break for Viacom should still, as I check, I'll have to double check my orders, should still be in there. And Daryl, yeah, you're 100% right, man. We missed Microsoft. This is my trade. And, you know, like remember when I looked at Microsoft early and I was like, it's just doing this, it's not doing anything. Yeah, I should have just trusted my call and my read on the NASDAQ there and taken this one long instead of now having to battle with Chewy, as you guys saw, and having to battle with Palantir now. So the only thing is I'm really happy that NEO has worked out. So that one's been a big trade for me, as now we come back in on this stock too. NASDAQ not coming in, but a lot of these high flyers are. So let's see, man, if NASDAQ can take it out, could be a good long, but it's 11.02, so the market could be a little sleepy here on quarter end.
And you know what's perfectly honest? One of the you hear Sean say every now and then, well, like everyone says, like hit like, subscribe, that's great, but like hit the share because the community is a good one. As I saw, and I think it was Rose asking a question about the difference between Discovery A and Discovery B, and I was trying to type in an answer there. It's a different amount of voting rights, and I don't know it offhand. I just know that it's more for B than it is for A. So check that one out. Literally saw Brent out there, one of our members, answering that question and talking about it in the chat. So that's the value of a larger community, because everyone can learn a little bit of something. We don't have all of that information off the top of my head. Like, I did know that difference, just not in particular. It's liquidity that matters. I'm going to go to something that matters as well, because I still have this one on. Just to recap, this Arcadia, remember, it is up on earnings. This is not one of those, it's some biopharma or some random like Chinese education company. I'm just making that up because it was one today. That is up on no news. There is a reason for why this is making the run to the upside. So I'm kind of always checking back. I don't want it to consolidate for too long on me and then make another run to the upside here. So again, I take some out at the 285 top. These recent shorts at 3 even, we've taken some shots here that have been pretty solid, guys. So I do like his trade. Still down to that 270, 275, but the longer it holds consolidation, especially if it holds it through lunchtime, I would walk away from this at 3 and no longer short it at 315, guys. So that's one condition that I would put onto this trade. I just never like it when it tries to make that kind of a move on me in the afternoon. I don't know why I can never find my weed Batman here, Sean. So I'm going to go with like lying in the weeds, because that's as good as I can be able to do. Got to put that one on the board, guys. But here comes that CGC. Now, candidly, there was a chance to reload at 33, which I should have done. But I finally got that target down at that 32.65. I told you guys it was going to be a scalp trade as it rolled over. I had to show you on the higher time frame, the 15-minute chart, what that 33 level looked like, because it's kind of random when it breaks that level here on the 1 minute. But certainly it looked a heck of a lot better when you go to that when you go to this higher time frame. Show the 15-minute chart. This is what it was retaking. That failed breakout top from the 26th, guys. That was Friday last week. And then, of course, big flush to the downside. I don't think that'll happen today, but that's why I like the 31 level. We use multiple time frames, guys. I want to make sure you guys knew exactly why I like that price.
What we haven't done, there's a pizza there as well. We haven't done the fruit salad. It's been a while. And I was going to say, I went and got this like a half hour ago, but today's fruit salad sponsored by Cantaloupe. with a bit. There are a few strawberries in there. So cantaloupe with strawberries. Keep yourself hydrated. Keep yourself excited as we can drink some water here. But we won't do that as, yeah, we did average in. So there's another trade on Palantir. We're giving it to this 23.90. I was excited to see if 23 would hold. And now it's put up or shut up time on that level. So if it holds, great. If it doesn't, we're out 23.90. We just did talk about that. I'm hoping it holds. But it looks like the NASDAQ may have seen its high today as it's trying. We gave you guys Apple long today. That was a good one, man. 122, 122.50. Bang that one out to the upside. So that was a big success for us. And then other than that, we still hold our only short really today in BlackBerry, and it's still right here. We just cashed it out. I don't have any worries about this one. We should have got more short maybe in the 60s, but we'll wait to see on that one. And really my whole day at this point, it's not my whole day, and it doesn't matter either way what happens, but I'm waiting for this Palantir as I've now invested into this one. The largest position on the board today for either one of us is this Palantir trade, and it's in right now. So let's wait to see if this goes up. And if I lose on it, I lose on it. But like I said, man, we're here for you, and we're going to give you the levels, and I'm going to tell you when large positions are on. Here comes Viacom, a good alert again. This won't be a large, this will be about half of a normal size. So let's see here, 45.30 break. We like this one. Let's see if we can get Viacom to the upside as now starting to rock and roll. If I do get this though, I'm not going to give this back $1. So 44.50. Here goes Viacom to the upside. Thank you so much for our viewer right here. I think it was a Bood. Let me see if I can find you. Here it is right here. Thank you for the Viacom look right there. Yeah, 22.90, not 23.90 on Palantir, obviously, is going to be my out on that 23 break. So here we go, Viacom making some moves here. Let's see what's in store for VIAC through 45.35. That's my call, or that's my position for the break.
And speaking of, like, here's a little bit of a bottom pick here. Now, again, look, if 10 cent breaks a low here, I'm going to get out of this pretty quickly. But I saw it trying to put in a higher low off of like a 2040 level, just retook that 50. Someone was messing around level 2, just throwing some bids in there, trying to get it upside. I really didn't care too much about that. If it breaks a low, I'm out. If it bounces back up to this like 21 to 21.25, I'd probably be interested in at least trying a short. We keep saying that got to be willing to short some of these names every now and then. NEO, on the other hand, look, it was going to be a scalp trade. It gave one look, trying to hold 38, which that suckered me into taking some more shares into NEO when it looked like it was going to hold, and then it breaks 38 even. It was a very, very tight stop trade. I wasn't even planning on holding it through 38 in the first place, but then I added it anyways and cost myself an extra 5 pennies there. Not a bad look, especially as long as we get out, of course, it's fine. But if it gets down to that 37.50, a bit of a double bottom, hard turn there, I would certainly have a look at that. I mean, the market hasn't really rolled over. We're still holding some of that top end range. And I want to come back to Tesla. 664. Why can't you go to 666? Come on, give me the love that I want at that number. I didn't get a chance to see it on level 2 in case there was a big seller, but it has made that reversal. And we did say if you're long in front of it, make sure you want to get out before it gets that 666. I'm only taking the bottom on either NEO in front of 37.50, so I need 55s or 60s.
What?
Or 10 cent here, we're taking a shot in front of that low of the day. Just so much room to run. If I can risk 10 to 15 pennies when the upside is going to be a muted move, will give me like 2x that, no problem. And then if you get to VWAP, you're talking 3 or 4x. So I like the risk to reward on 10 cent music. This is what I should have done short in front of 22. So that's been a great level. We sort of harped about that. But unwilling to go in both directions, which is crazy for me because I actually like shorting some of these names. Can kind of have a better read sometimes in the short. I don't know why I'm not trying it on Tencent and Discovery and Viacom.
Okay, so Viacom, we took the trade and we had, I don't know what happened there. We tried to put a stop order out, that wouldn't have triggered the stop order. Anyways, we had to get back in. So realistically, we just bumbled a couple back and forth there, but that's fine because we are back into Viacom right now. So the average price, I mean, it says 45.20, but realistically, I'll stamp the 45.30. We got in and out. There's some stop orders triggered on the downside. No idea why, but my out's going to be down here 44.50 as we talked about. So I do like that as a downside spot. So we'll wait to see if that can come through. But right now, 45.30, call it. We're long 20s, as you can see. But I do think that more and more upside coming here for VIAC. And if not, hey, we'll lose the dollar. Let's see if we get back to where we sort of opened upside, 47 and change on hopefully some good news. Our boy Palantir, though, didn't do anything. It went up to where we were in at again. This is our price. We're long at 23.13, so it went right back there. We could have cashed it out if we didn't believe in it, but we're holding. So here it comes right down to 23, man. I get a feeling this is going to break, and then we're going to get tested, and then this is probably going to snap 22.90. So watch out for VWAP. I know that's defeatist talk, but I just thought that it would have gone there. The fact that 1, 2, 3 times here, 23.20, 23.12, sorry, held. That's my price, but I still have higher hopes, guys. So this is going to be a 20-cent hit if we lose. So obviously on the winning side, we'd like to break day's high and see if that can't come into play here again on that talk. Viacom not doing anything. BlackBerry flat, Chewy flat. Looks like a relatively uneventful last couple minutes here, but it looks like Chewy could test again right now, this 23, and it's not going to be a good one. What up, Beep?
Just looking at some of these clean energy names. Pola, remember that Pola Power. There's also this Romero RMO. There we go. I wanted to pull up that chart. Getting crushed today, down 17% after earnings. Pre-market were worse than expected. So just noticed this one on volume as well. Right at recent lows here, 840 for RMO, guys.
We can flush this one down toilet. You know what? Like, there's nothing wrong with having to stop, guys. It's going to happen to you. I was only taking this off the low of the day, the 10-cent music, and I said I should have done it for the short. If you did it at 22, you're fine. But we're going to break the bottom here on the TME, and I'm not going to hold through that low. If that ends up being the bottom wick and it makes a bit of a run to the upside, I really don't mind. The structure of the trade was bottom picking off low of the day, so I'm going to stick to that plan every single time we see it. I just want to come back over to that pay safe. I know, Sean, you've definitely covered it. If you look at the trading in this, let's zoom in so you can see a little bit better here. It's really had that long consolidation and then the break to give you sort of an obvious look. I mean, the risk to reward off of those longs, you're essentially risking nothing if you had it at like 40, 44, 40, or 50s off of that 44. And I want to see if the same thing can happen here. Like, ignore this wick off the open. I'm looking at the higher low at 14.08, and then this consolidation in front of 14. So, just to give you an idea, what I'd like to see, and there's no guarantees this is what you're going to get, is maybe as long as we consolidate down here, the bid just starts to get a little bigger and bigger in front of 14 even, a bit bigger in front of those like 14.05 areas, and then it's like scalp city off of that 14 even, maybe even started at like 5s and 6s. And all you really care about is a retracement back into the 25 to like 40 area. Doesn't even have to crack VWAP. First things first, it has to hold 14. It has to show me that level, bounce off it, the bids start to pick up, and then I want to start playing that rinse and repeat. No guarantees, but with the volume it's done and the interest in the name, sometimes you can catch one of these lows. It's a good lunchtime trade. Brendo?
Yeah, somebody was just asking about this one. SunPower, SPWR. Again, I think it's just a group thing. There's no individual news here. You can see this thing did gap up, yes, but really hasn't done much all day, just kind of chopping around this 33. So some of these names, again, that have been beaten down over the past little while. Catching a bid today, including SunPower, guys.
Tomorrow we have the general manager of SoFi coming on, Brendan, so that should be a good one. No interview today, but tomorrow there definitely is one, and we're looking forward to that. General manager of SoFi coming through, so there's been a lot of talk regarding that company and whatnot, and we'll hear more about that tomorrow. 37.91, we did take a little shot there on NEO, and thank you so much. Yeah, BTC is breaking out, is it? Yeah, it just went, yeah, good call there. It went through 59. We traded a little bit of ether there, but yeah, 59.2, making moves right now, and my baby hopefully continues to keep on ripping to the high side. I'm long at an embarrassingly low price, but I still think you could buy. So here is Cardano. You guys can do your own work on this one, but smart contracts. I think they'll rival Ethereum, and they already are. It's just a matter of getting the name behind it. There's that dollar bid. Shout out to Shakib that actually took some shares on a bottom here. I think he said he's long at 105, but this is Cardano. I like it at this 99. I mean, this is $1, and then breaking back down to 80 cents. I mean, look, could we retest 40 cents? I mean, it's crypto, right? So this could go down to 0. We'll wait to see if that is a play, but I'm a long-term holder of BTC, ETH, Ripple, a few other ones, Stellar, which is XLM, and then ADA now. Not now. I've been holding Cardano for years, but now it's finally breaking out to the upside. So we do like that call. All right. Someone also said downside. Okay, here's Viacom. blah. We got excited on that rip, but we're still holding this. Looks like I'll probably lose that 80 cents. Well, no, it doesn't look like that, but if it does come down here, I'm getting out. I'm not even using this wick. I'm just going to use 50 as my out. So if that does come through, that comes through. But like I said, the largest position for either one of us today is this Palantir trade, long right now, and it could be the largest loser of the day too for either one of us if this does break back down below this 22.90. So we're holding out hope that 23 holds here. If it does, that's great. Our last little buy on NEO though was 37.77. So we're going to get some out in the 90s if it can come out. But right now, a nice little move to the high side here. 13.16 on the NASDAQ. Let's see if we get a little higher and take out some NEO. You know, for 15, 20 cents, I think is reasonable on this name.
This one's for you, Wall Street Cat. Why not? I don't have a good name for it. Little Muhammad Ali action there, and why not? I actually liked boxing as a kid. My dad had other ideas about me ever being in contact sports. That's fine. Arcadia has been a piece of, I don't know, poo. I guess, unless, look, if you're long it from yesterday off the earnings, great, awesome, 230, you could have sold in the aftermarket, you're still in the money here today. If you're trading it today, anything but the short side, well, that probably hasn't worked out for you. There were multiple short trades in this name. I mean, the key one was, of course, waiting for 350, and it comes down to your rules. Now, I've said this time and time again, if I get in one of these shorts where I've been shorting it all morning and it makes a run into the high off the open and I short into that, I'm always taking it out well in advance. I'm not trying to hold it through the top. I'm looking to re-enter at that top, which is exactly what we did. It's now getting towards that 275 target, and just to zoom in as to why, when we talk about earnings, one of the things that we'll say is in the aftermarket, I look for where liquidity comes in to buy the dips on a strong move. And I sort of look at this little base that happened at 270 to 275, and then that becomes a little bit of a de facto target for me. We're not getting very close to it at lunchtime, so we're gonna go right to target on this, but I had to get back in on a 3 even move when it consolidated. Sometimes you buy high, you sort of buy low, sell high, the reverse in the short side trade, but every now and then you have to be willing to play something after it's made a big move. You can't just say because it's dipped down 10% or 10, 15%, I'm only going to buy the dip. No, if it's going to be weak, you short into it. That's what we did here with that Arcadia, and that's why I really haven't gotten out of it. No diamond hands for me in NEO. As you saw with the tight stop, I actually got out when it broke 38. It's approaching that 37. The low is actually 37.45, but I did say I wanted it like, give me 50s, give me 55s, give me 60s. I don't want to chase it too far here, guys, then have too big of a stop, especially because the NASDAQ has still not rolled over. And if it breaks 13.10, I don't want to have bought a little bit too early on NIO here. So it's only been a scalp trade for me in this particular name. I think you might be able to swing for the fences a little bit later on in the session, especially if it gets its juice going and then we ever see that 39, which would be a great afternoon breakout, come to think of it, especially if the market cracks that 2%, Sean.
Yeah, I hope it does, because again, we're into this NEO right now, and right now I'm just loaded up long. You guys already know that about Palantir and about Viacom and about NEO, and let's just check back on this Chewy right here. Like, wake up, Chewy, man. I mean, you're still up 8.5%, but the only losing trade that I have on today is this NEO trade, and we were not liking it really, in the beginning, because we did write down on our sheet here 90.50, so we tried to watch that, and then we had look at these prices here. Look at 87.50 there, guys. Like that, if that's not pegged almost perfectly, I mean, this is 87.50, 80, like it's right here. Now we're having a problem breaking it to the upside 87.50 with these bottoms of 86.50. So to me, this is a long rate here, man. I know Chewy's getting beat up, but if the winds of change sale? I don't know. If they change on Chewy, man, this could go back to VWAP, which is right here, 89. So here comes the NASDAQ. It's going to hit Palantir. We'll go long 87.50. If this goes up, we'll see about, it looks like it's going to go right now. Let's take another stab here and then use this as the bottom, 86.50 bottom on Chewy, guys. Let's test it one more time.
And we can't get away too far away from BlackBerry, guys. I mean, it rounds back to the bottom. I'll take 10 cents every single chance I get. I still have some bids here. I promised you guys I would only be short this one. And I said if it does consolidate off VWAP, I would then take it out at like 63 and look for re-entry. No mas. It continues to be weak. Just got some out at in the 40s. I still have bids all the way down into the quarters, and I still think as long as we can hold at 865, we should probably see 8 even. If the market starts to sell off, Yeah, I bet you BlackBerry is going to be leading that, or at least at the front of that charge. Brendan?
UPC, guys, if I remember correctly, somebody was asking about this UPC, Universe Pharmaceuticals. Yeah, it's one of those Chinese ones. So if you remember, there was a day last week where a whole bunch, and I mean 5 or 6 Chinese-based pharmaceutical companies just went crazy. If I remember correctly, this was one of them, UPC. I think it was this day we got all the way up here to 12. And it just faded all day long. We're right back to lows, unfortunately. That move happened basically on no news. It was just one of those, they picked a group one day, that group got run up as high as it possibly could, and then they all faded back down. So yeah, this is a recent addition, recent IPO, Universe Pharmaceuticals. No news again today, but we're sitting here at 4. Unfortunately, that was just one of those events, I think, that happened for a single day. With no real catalyst, and now here we are back to possibly where it should be, guys.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Neo whatever, trying to go, but I don't know. We're building some bottoms here, and we've done some amazing trades on Neo, including yesterday's monster, like $2 or $3 winner as it just went ripped up to the upside. So here we go, basing out on Neo. We'll wait a little lower here, 37.50. Hopefully that can come through as well. Palantir, we did take off like 10% because we told you about this level. Bang, 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 bang. But like I said, we're here to make some money. So can't hold it against us and then not wait for the top. So now we have to wait. There'll be no more outs here on Palantir until we actually take out some highs. We'll probably put some bids down, right here, because we are long at 11. So if we can get some like 22s or 23s, just in case we resist again, I think we'll probably take out 20% or so, and then we'll wait for higher highs on Palantir and just hope that can work out for us. We did take more Chewy, as we said, at this 87.40 level. So again, just with the spreads, basically 87.50 break. So we'll wait on that one. Okay, Neo, where do I have the outs here on Neo? It's now 15 cents in the money for me. So outs, upside, maybe we'll test 38, put an order right around here, 37.97 or so on Neo. We'll see about that. If that gets ripping to the high side, I like to take a little bit out, base it out, 37.50, a great little long there if we can get it. And then you guys know, we've already talked about Neo over and over again today. Down here, man, this 34 area was huge yesterday. That's why we hit it, ripped all the way to the upside. Now we have a very similar level right here at 37 even. So let's wait to see what happens with Neo. But right now we've got it. And there goes Palantir finally. Let's get some orders where we said we would take some out.
Yeah, I think it was at Nostalgia TV. Apologies there in our chat, guys. I love the community, and I'm happy for you that you called that 10-cent music. The only thing good about my 10-cent trade is I didn't make the absolute bottom wick. So every now and then you get a bit of a bounce, and of course it's like looking like it's gonna work its way into the money. Obviously that's certainly true right now, at least. But sometimes it's gonna happen. You have a stop, you get out, you take the hit, you move on to the next trade. Unless someone's saying, why aren't you guys looking at BlackBerry? I mean, we're both shorted and have been short BlackBerry pretty much the entire session. So if I saw a long trade in it, believe me, like I'd say let's try to make a long trade in BlackBerry. I don't see it. So we're only going to be short this name until I get it proves me otherwise. I want to go back to Tesla. Only a few minutes left to go, guys. It hasn't really ever given that dip into those. We like that 50. We like that VWAP. I liked 47s earlier. Hasn't really done any of that. But the market's about to roll over, and I don't love it as much. Picking up any bottom. So I want to come back to this because I know I said let's buy VWAP on Tesla, but as the NASDAQ is doing this, I don't like that anymore. Not at lunchtime, not when you don't want to be over trading. That would have been a trade when there's a little bit more momentum in for that secondary bounce. Allow the market to pull back in here. It's healthy, it's fine. We're still up 1.5%, but as that happens, I'd much rather play some deeper levels on a retrace. Like I know, Sean, you're in that in Neo, and as we look at Neo, of course, on the daily chart, I mean, fantastic off that 34. Sean has always mentioned we're not going to get that today, but what you could get is a test back into yesterday's close at 37.55. Also, that happens to be the low of the day today. So let's see if we can't get that test as opposed to trying to pick up Tesla off of the top. Tighter stop, and in the event of a rollover, if immediately you start holding some of those levels, fantastic. But I'm only in the shorts for now, and then being very, very patient during lunchtime about any longs that I pick up. I'll be watching Snapchat as well to see if it has a secondary move. That was a fantastic one off the open.
Yeah, we're building into another case here with NEO. So more shares, more, 3760 there. But, we're noticing the market here. And I'm surprised. I'm debating right now. Let's take out a little piece of Palantir F14s if we can. Did we just get filled there? Yes, we did. So we'll take out a little bit there as it just keeps on coming downside. The market's coming down, and I'm really proud of how well this is holding up. So, we're probably counting our chickens a little bit here. Holding out for Palantir, staying strong in this NASDAQ move down. It's not even a move down. You're talking about like 0.2%, but it's just the way that Palantir has been trading lately. We've known that when the NASDAQ goes up, Palantir still likes to go down. So I'm really, really surprised that this is holding up, which leads me to believe that if we get a turn in the NASDAQ, then we do get these highs. So let's hold out hope for that one. NEO, I do have some more builds down, but I'm not taking anything now until we get into the 30s. So until we get back down here into like 3730, 3740. The problem is, guys, with the shares that I trade, like it's just, I can't put on the position I want to until we get a little closer to 37. So we're going to watch out for 37 coming through. Look, it's in the money. I'm long at 67. It was just at 75. But we are holding out for a little higher here. Maybe 3780, 3790 as a first spot to get out. And then hopefully we retest VWAP back to the upside. But I'm already dug into the long. And yeah, literally the whole show I've been short BlackBerry. I shorted it right off the open, 853 or whatever this was. This 853, is that my price? 852. And then now, yeah, it's back down into the 40s. So I still have some bids lower. The only problem was I should have reloaded here on this short, just again, not paying attention. That should have been shorted again. So that's my analysis on BlackBerry. I'm going to keep holding it until we retest 35. That's my best out, 37.
So just because I don't have locates doesn't mean I can't look at that WAFU. It never gave you that upside halt style trade, but it did make that press. To at least to like 1550, close enough to that higher close. You had this move up to like 16 even that rejected. That's close enough that you're going to get that harsh reversal. Anyone holding on to a long, the key thing here is look at this like consolidation turn. So you're looking at 1270 to 13 even. A 13 even break that finds follow through down to like 1270. That's going to be a heck of a lot of weakness to try to fight against, guys. I would like that short in around that 75 area with a 13 stop into like about 12 where you had that little dip. Now, one of the things that I like to say is even if I don't have shortable shares in a particular name, if you don't look at the setups that you would take and try to evaluate them in real time, like if that blows up, it would have blown up theoretically in my face. If I don't actually look at it when I can't trade it, then I don't get that learning information for future trades, right? So you want to track that as well. It's a setup that I would have. So I want to make sure whether I have the shares or not in this particular case, that I see exactly how it would have played out. So WAFU, again, if it holds that 12 even also on that same kind of move, it would be in play for an afternoon breakout, but we're not exactly there yet. That's putting the cart before the horse. Right now, it's at 13 to 1270 area, short into 12 even. Brendo.
It's about that time, guys. We are, a week away, I guess, a couple of days away before we really get into earnings season again. But again, today, there's a couple on here that are going to be worth watching, I think. Coming up tomorrow morning, here's what we got for earnings, guys.
No. I thought we already had XL Fleet. Okay, maybe we didn't. I don't know if XL Fleet's not correct. And I don't think Dave & Buster's is correct either, but maybe they all are. Okay, Express Spa, XPSA, other than that, I know XL Fleet reported, and I remember talking about Dave & Buster's with Daryl. So but maybe that's correct, but XL Fleet, look, it's going to be big. You talked about it already, Brendan. We are wrapping up some of these earnings seasons. So we'll wait to see what does happen here on earnings season. We just took out some more BlackBerry there. Palantir now ripping. NEO. I mean, give me the love for some NEO today, man. This continues to be the #1 stock, like we said here on the show. And there it is again. Look at that 66 out. Bang, 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 bang. Right back up here. Now let's wait to see if we test 38 and change. And then Palantir is trying, man. It's trying to go. We are long at 11s. So, a win is a win. And like I said, the biggest position on board today, for us was this Palantir, but it's now making moves. This will, end my day off on the right note here with Palantir ripping to the high side. We will double check on some of those earnings, but they look pretty good here. I think the only wrong one might have been XL Fleet.
I think a bunch of them. I mean, Micron for sure is going to be correct, guys. And just watch out. Nice consolidation of Micron off 86. I'm not just saying that because I got it at 60, but I like the chip space.
Boom.
We like these names for sure. I'd watch out for anything that takes it in towards this like 92, 95 range, guys. That's an obvious sort of a short-term take profit. Brendo?
Yeah, double check, guys. They're correct. XL Fleet is tonight aftermarket. Dave & Buster's is tonight aftermarket. So yeah, I think we're all good for earnings, guys.
I'm pretty sure we had XL wrong before, but it wasn't. Remember we were talking about XL, and then we talked about them being a short on their earnings play. Where's the daily chart here? Right here. I was pretty sure we were talking about it going to the upside, but I don't know.
I remember the conversation about XL Fleet, so I'm actually similarly confused. But that's what. Look, this is why we have an entire team.
Oh, someone's saying that they delayed their earnings.
There we go.
They were supposed to go last week, and then again, like Neil just said, take it away, Neil. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was going to say this is why we have a team. This is why we have a community, because like no one's perfect. We did remember that there was something about it that was a little bit earlier, so we get the update. Valeria was sure about it because that's what she does around here.
Right.
Look, there's been a couple of these questionable ones because we got to do what national day it is. I don't know. I'm just going to throw it to you, Miss. So we're going to Brendan first, then we're going.
Guys, Neo and Palantir right now taking off to the upside. Brendan, I heard go to Brendan.
What happened?
Yeah, I just want to mention this real quick before we go, guys. Just got a note here on YVR. If anyone's watching YVR, they have announced plans to create the first of its kind multi-token IP platform. So straight from PR guy for YVR, guys. Multi-token IP platform coming for YVR.
Man, we have the contacts
Up
there.
like
Brendan.
38%, about to bounce off VWAP.
Here goes NASDAQ, man. We are huge right now. Look at Neo, man. Neo taking it out. Bang, bang, bang. Big time trading on Neo. Big time trading on Palantir. As we described it, boom, right back to the high of the day for Palantir. And yeah, when the money comes in, we get a little excited there. I apologize as we are 1 minute over. We got to wrap this up, Neil.
Oh, that's fine. We're going to get to Humus V. We got the National Day. Maybe you guys like it. I think it's boring. Sorry.
Well, Neil, I don't know what's questionable about the National Day, but I guess we'll find out later. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you had a great start of the trading day. I wish you a great rest of it. And guys, please make sure to subscribe to our channel. We are around 3,000, just 3,000 of subscribers away from 200,000 of subscribers. So make sure to subscribe, and we'll be drinking champagne live. We will see you tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and happy National Potato Day, everyone.
You mean National Champagne Day? Taters? I mean, potatoes are like that thing you eat like 2-3 times a week. Eating a National Day seems like a little bit of a stretch, but that's just me around here. Thank you guys so much. Look, for all the love, for all the community aspect. I love the fact that like you get the interaction back and forth, and it's been a fun one for sure. I actually picked up some of the, I just made a quick trade in YVR. Was bouncing off VWAP, and I'll see if I can risk about 10 pennies on that news, see if it can't get to the high of the day. So thank you, Brendan, for that one. Down the line, we're now at 1.8%, and we're holding the highs, and Valeria's in green. My man Sean Katina, I didn't wear my checkered shirt at the same time you did for the first time in a month.
Beauty.
For Mr. Wickens, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. See you tomorrow, guys.